See. Oh, it's quick. This is hard to understand. Hold on. Yo, YouTubers, roller coaster ride is back online. I had to try a live stream, guys, because I've got Asperger's, man, right, and I hate changing things. I hate when something's brand new, right, and they've made it. Like whenever I do a live stream, I use the YouTube Classic stream. And this new thing, the new layout, it's too much for my head, man. It's too much for my head. But I thought, like, let's do a little live stream and see if we're going out. I've got one viewer. I don't know how this works. I haven't got a clue. Let's get the microphone a bit like. We've got one viewer at the moment, right? And another thing I'd like to say, right? Press the like button. Whoever's watching. If you're watching, press the like button and let's get as many likes as I can. I don't know why. Everyone else does it on YouTube. I don't know why. Guess what, guys? I've got a new guitar. I'm really excited. And I haven't had a drink tonight, guys. I'm actually staying sober, okay? Okay, there's a big red button that says end stream. There's all kinds of things on this that I'm not used to it, It's brand new, and I hate new things. But anyway, look, guys. We got a new baby. And it's a Fender. It's my first Fender. The first Fender guitar I've owned since, I think it was about 1997, and it's a student guitar. It's a 3/4, right? 3/4 size student guitar, so it's a smaller neck and everything. It's classical, right? It's a student's guitar. They're about £100. They're quite cheap, right? Someone gave it to me and it had steel strings on it, right? Steel strings on classical guitars, guys. It's like having holes in your socks. You know what I mean? You wear socks and your toe sticks out and it's like you go even though it's just your toe sticking through a hole, your whole body is affected, isn't it? Well, that's what happens to these things if you put steel strings on them. If you put steel strings on a Spanish guitar or a classical guitar, she won't like you. She'll be angry because they don't work with steel strings. Okay, now look, what I did was I took the steel strings off. Someone gave it to me and said, it's a guitar if you want it, and he thought it was a steel string guitar, and I looked at it and said, that's classical, mate. I can tell by the bridge and everything. I said, that's a classical guitar, right? So what I did was I went out and bought the best strings I could buy, right? And this is my advice. Anyone, if you've got one of these around, what we call a classical guitar. These are about £100, guys. Wait till you hear how it sounds, right? And they're meant for learning on, but it's like a Spanish guitar. It's a Spanish neck and everything, but it feels like an electric guitar, like a normal size electric guitar neck. It's like a hybrid between an electric guitar and a Spanish guitar, or flamenco guitar, classical guitar. So let's see what it sounds like. Hey, let's get the microphone a bit lower. And I might have to tune in a bit. Is that beautiful? What? Please check the video resolution. Why does I keep doing that? I'm green behind the ears with this, man. The current resolution is 1092 times 614, which, right, they say that to me all the time, but it still goes out, doesn't it? But listen to that, man. Yeah, man. I'll do me the wise old seer in the woods. If I make any mistakes, guys, because I'm not used to holding the microphone in front of me or all, a slightly out of tune. It's like a piano. £100 guitar, guys. I mean, these things, if you want to buy a Spanish guitar, they're like, you know, professional Spanish guitars, they're like 20 grand, honestly, because they're always made of exotic wood. They're more expensive than electrics. A piece can reinvent the soul, fusing my memories of old. My eyes are wide open now. Magical land of ages past, earthly and evergreens at last. My senses burn bright and out, alive and so serene, all binding marriage colours green, alive and so serene, all rough and down, all so clean, could stay here forever and ever. One day I'll leave the world behind, enter a place no one can find, so timeless, suspended high. All-seeing eyes rendered blind, released from prisons of the mind. No walls and no windows tied, alive and so serene, all binding marriage colours green, alive and so serene, all rough and dirt, all so clean, could stay here forever and ever. Whoa. This sounds really good, man. Please check the video, warning, please check the video resolution. The current resolution is blah, 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 blah. It's still got one viewer. It says playbacks 2. Playbacks 2. Honestly, this new, this dashboard thing is, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Right, when we're on stream settings, stream health, let's check. Let's see what we got. Sorry for the pause here, guys. I'll do a bit of talking. Warning, please check the video resolution, which is not optimal. Suggestion. The higher than the recommended bitrate, we recommend that you use the stream bitrate of 1,000 bits. Stream is healthy, the stream is excellent. Right, so what are they complaining about? Why? Stream status good. Well, that's good enough, isn't it, right? I've got like, you know, fibre broadband here, mate. I should be like... I'm sorry about the quality. Look what happens. See, if my chair, you know, because the light's behind me, I know it's a bit dark, you know what I mean, but look, you know, because the light reflects off the picture behind me. Look what happens, man. You see, and then it starts flickering and stuff, you know, look. You see, because that flipping reflection, and I've got a cloth or something to put over it, like, you know what I mean? You know, you got to think of all these things, haven't you, when you're doing video, like, you know. But anyway, It's cozy here, isn't it? Sounds too blasty in my headphones, you know what I mean? A bit of Mexico. There's just no way I'm concentrating here, mate. Alright, well, we've got 2 viewers. We've got 2 viewers. We still got no comments. The chat is open. I think it's open. I don't know. Live chat. Live chat. Live chat. Alright, guys. I thought, let's get into it, right? I was just wanted to do like a sort of current of, you know, ooh, my mics, sort of current affairs, you know, with the what's happening lately in the world, right? And we're being stitched up by some kind of alien race, aren't we? You know what I mean? There's no 2 ways about it, right? I don't monetize, you see, so I can talk about whatever I want. You know what I mean? I can say like, well, I'm not going to use the words, you know. But you know, words are banned and that, like, and it's all down to if you do an advertising deal with YouTube, and they'll give you money, you know, for watching your P's and Q's, and don't fart or whatever, don't fart on camera, or, you know what I mean? Just imagine if you had like a massive, you know, like loads of sponsors and that, like say I was sponsored by Fender to do this, and they'll be like, it's a nice Fender, it's got like, you know, it's perfect for, excuse me. It's perfect for you know, for the classical music, and then I'm sorry, I had some beans for tea. Now you're not allowed to swear or do anything bad, are you? That might, you know, like what a newsreader wouldn't do, basically, isn't it? That's the practice when you go online. Is you shouldn't always do what newsreaders do, and that's like follow the rules. All right, well we've got 1 viewer now. So we had 2 before, now we only got 1. Make your fucking minds up there. Hey, make your fucking minds up out there. You're gonna fucking watch or not. If you don't wanna fucking hang around, go on fucking beat up. Alright? Get out of my fucking neighbourhood. See you. I fucking... I'm drinking tea. I'm actually drinking Red Bush. LFC. Someone like cheers at me. Is like, look, my message came up there. This is weird seeing the screen. It's like, I don't know what's on the screen, really. It's a bit easier to look at. Like I say, it's black, isn't it? You know. But anyway, right, guys. Red Bush tea. I had loads of thought waves, right, watching, you know, what's been going on with the tragedies and everything, and the pandemic and that, right? And, you know, in the old days, they made slaves wear masks, you know what I mean? And I think it's, you know, I think, like, I'm not a big David Icke fan. I don't buy his books, I don't buy DVDs and nothing like that, right? But I always agreed with him about the reptilians, right? You know what's weird, man? You know, like reptiles. Not all of them are bad, you know, like tortoises are reptiles. And I like tortoises. Just imagine a world being, like, run by evil tortoises, like, you know, it's like, don't you dare walk faster than 3 miles an hour. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, because like snakes, they look at rabbits and they want to eat everyone, or, you know what I mean, they look at animals, like there's people on YouTube putting videos up of snakes eating puppy dogs and stuff like that, you know, like sick fucks, man, you know what I mean? Right. But just imagine if tortoises had the same inclinations as snakes and that, like, you know what I mean? It's like staring at a piece of lettuce going like, don't you move or I'll have you. Like, being cruel to a piece of lettuce, like, you know. How come tortoises are reptiles, man? But anyway, what I've been thinking, like, is we're definitely under some kind of regime, right? It's the beast system, isn't it? It's the beast system, right? And it's going to end up where, I've been telling you guys, I've been screaming out from my channel, right? honestly, you've got to realise how serious this request is. Get rid of your smartphones, right? Listen to me, right? You can make a phone call. Look, you can make a phone call with things like this. It's called a phone. It's just got a phone in it. Do you realise they're taking it for granted? We can go like, I can go, say I'm being, gang raped by a mob of knobheads. I can go, 999, help. We're taking it for granted, aren't we? You know what I mean, right? And I did a speech, remember my first speech ever on YouTube, right, guys? My very first speech I ever did was I had to get drunk on a bottle of cider to basically pluck up the Dutch courage to talk on camera, because I was used to uploading like videos of music or whatever, and I thought I'm going to talk on this channel and see what and it takes a while to break the ice and get used to talking on camera, you know what I mean? But once you've done it and you get into it, it's great, like. And I had to drink a bottle of cider, like cheap cider, to get myself like sort of Dutch courage to sit there in front of the camera just talking, right? And what happened was I did the speech like telling people that the world is going shit. It's my old channel, guys, my roller coaster ride. What was it called? King Bruno de Gaulle channel, it was called. King Bruno de Gaulle. Right. And that's a long time ago, guys, when I was telling everyone, look, man, sack your phones, please, right? Look, get a video camera. get a camcorder to make films. Get a PC, a laptop or whatever to do, like, your social media or your emails and everything. But listen to me, guys, right? I'm telling you, the whole world is being trapped by the phones, right? Now, think about it. They're smart, right? They're smart. I mean, I'm trying my best not to swear, you know what I mean? They're fucking smart, all right. Just think about it, in your pockets, literally going, I'm going to become this person. Let's just suppose now I had an iPhone, a smartphone in my pockets, right? In the brain of the smartphone, it's going to be going, tomorrow I'm going to be Bruce, and then maybe next year I will completely be Bruce. Do you understand? You've got to realise what they're doing, man. Like in Terminator, the way Terminator, he sees something and he morphs into it, and like he morphs into the floor. Remember Terminator 2, where that's what we're talking about, the kind of technology. We're talking about silicon taking over oxygen, basically. And I don't like it, man. Oh, hang on. Hola, amigos. Oh, shit, what happened there? Hola, amigo españole. What's that? It says, hey, tú, hola, amigo. ¿Hablas español? Sí, señor. Hey, you're welcome to my channel. I don't speak Spanish, but I hope I love Salvador Dali. Spanish football is great. Fernando Torres. Alright, man, let's get back to what I was talking about, right? And I'm like, you get a camera, get everything separate, get a PC, whatever, man. You've got to realise the trap is in the phones, right? And then you've got like the mark of the beast in the right hand. Now, what's happening to everyone, guys? What do you see in the street when you walk around, right? What do you see more than anything when you look? Get off a train and look through the window of the train as it's driving away at the train station, and look at how many people like this, with the mark of the beast in the right hand as is standard, mate. It's becoming like a compulsory, the mark of the beast in the right hand, right? Which will eventually become a chip. We all know that, right? And they're already starting the crap, right? So that, what this lockdown was all about, and all this pandemic and everything, what it's all about? They're experimenting so that, like, the bit in the Bible when it says those without the mark will not be able to buy or sell. Do you know what I mean? That's what they're heading for, guys, right? And think about it. Everyone gets reliant on using them, right? And this isn't a smartphone. This hasn't even got the internet on it, right? Everyone gets reliant on them, right? Next thing you know, the snakes who are running it, not the tortoises, not all reptiles. The tortoises will go mad if you walk too fast. Nah, the snakes will go like, okay, we've got them controlled by the phones now. If they don't follow our orders, we cut off the finances. Because you're going to get to a point where, what happened with the lockdown? We all had to buy things online, didn't we? We all had to go online. We couldn't even go into a shop. If we went round the shops, they were all shut and boarded up, weren't they, right? Think about what they're doing with experimenting there, guys, right? And it'll get to the point where, whatever happens, we've seen the proof that they're up to something, right? Whoever it is, reptiles. Everyone keeps saying the government. What is the fucking disease called, mate? It's called corona, right? What's a corona? It's a crown. What could it be? I think it's the crown jewels, right? The crown jewels, a load of diamonds, a load of rubies, a load of emeralds, a load of gold, in a glass case in the Tower of London, which was built by William the fucking Conqueror. Do you know what I mean? William the Conqueror, he was a horrible bastard. He was a horrible, horrible man, right? The crown jewels is in the Tower of London, which was built by William the Conqueror, right? Horrible, evil man. I used to think he was a hero, you know what I mean? Now, I think he's a bellend. Right? Now, all them jewels and all them diamonds and all them, like, remember, they're like huge. You can't buy them in the shops. We can't go out and buy them, you know what I mean? But they're using them as their sort of, that's their universe. That's the universe of the wealthy people, right? And it's called the coronavirus, remember? Coronavirus. Virus in a crown if you don't toe the line. Did any royal family get the virus? Boris Johnson got it, didn't he? What happened to him? He was in hospital. Only weeks after he was supposed to have lied to the Queen. Remember it all in the news headlines. Boris Johnson lies to the Queen. The Queen's not happy, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't get corona, does she? She doesn't get it. Like, it's like the cancer thing. They won't get cancer because, the person firing the bullets is the person with the gun, you know what I mean? And television and media is what's throwing cancer out through television, you know what I mean? It's actually a spell. You've got to be... Oh, man, here's the proof of it, right? This is a philosophical speech, by the way, right? Have you seen those guys on YouTube? The Japanese fella who made a breakthrough when you put just a simple glass of water on a table, a glass of water out of the tap, right? You look at the water and you talk to it and you go, "You're beautiful, you're wonderful, I love you, water. Without you, water, our lives would not be, we wouldn't be able to live without you." And you pile the glass of water with compliments, right? And then the energy of the water becomes positive. And then it becomes like a positive energy. And the crystal structure and everything becomes more appealing and nice, right? Now, just imagine we're the glass of water. We are glasses of water, guys. There's like 80% water in our bodies or something like that, right? We're glasses of water and our television is saying, "You get this disease. You'll get cancer. If you don't go to the opticians, your eyes won't be right." Do you realise that's all run by the crown? All avenues of television, all avenues of media, especially when it's talking about medicine and going, "Oh, have you got an ear infection? Buy some Otex. You got plaque on your teeth? Buy some toothpaste." All those medicinal companies, the pharmaceuticals, and all those people, they're fucking criminals, man. Right? I'm sorry about my language, guys. You know what I mean? Because I've got to stress it as much as I can so people take me seriously, you know what I mean? Right. Now, the television on the wall, right? The television is the cyclops, the corner, the eyeball in the room. It's an eyeball in the living room, isn't it? A cyclops watching everyone, right? And it's saying to all of us all day, instead of looking... the television could be looking out, couldn't it, at us? And from the other side of the crown, it could be going, "All you people, we're all glasses of water. You're all beautiful, you're all wonderful, you're all great, you glasses of water, you're all fantastic." And we'd all feel great and our physical structure and our chemistry would start getting better. No, what's it telling us, man? You got cancer. You might need to go to the opticians. If you got a headache, you need some Anodin. You know what I'm saying? They're bombarding us with pharmacon it's called. You know what I mean? The pharmacon, the pharmaceutical con like. Now you've got to go out and buy masks. Whoever's making the masks probably works in Buckingham Palace. Can you see what I'm saying when you join the dots, right? They're reptilians, mate. They're reptilians, and they want to mock as many poor people as they can, right? Now, here's the thing, right? When I was talking about, when I first released, I'm trying to string a load of things together here and be as quick as I can, you know what I mean? And I'm off, like. But, when I did my first speech on YouTube, right? I did my very first speech. I had to drink a bottle of cider to do it, right? I'm actually stayed sober. I've got a couple of beers there, like, but I'm actually cutting down, but... I could have had a couple of beers, but I didn't, like. Anyway, My first speech that I had to drink a bottle, you know, cheap big bottle of cider, just to pluck up the courage to talk to a camera, right? And when I did my first speech, I spoke about a true story, guys. This is actually true, and this was like, how many years ago did I have my King Bruno de Gaulle channel? Whoever has followed me from day one, you'll know how many years ago it was, my very first speech. It's quite a long, long time ago, right? And I'll get this right, guys. I told a true story about, I was in Birkenhead Town Centre, right? And I was walking along, and in front of me was a girl with a smartphone, right? And she was about 20, maybe 18, I don't know. She was a teenager, right? Maybe 20 years old at the most. She was walking along like that, the beast, mark of the beast in the right hand. She's walking along like that, right? And I was just behind her. If you imagine me walking behind her, and she's like that, gawping at the phone screen, right? She's completely conscious. She's got eyesight and everything perfect. All the senses are there, right? And she's walking along with the mark of the beast in the right hand, right? She's walking along like that. And in front of her, on her path, walking towards both of us, basically, you know what I mean? Because we were walking forward, and coming towards both of us was a guy who was blind with a white stick, right? And he's got a proper blind man, right? Obviously, he's not doing that. Obviously, he's not going to be doing that. They've got their own network, haven't they? The blind people, the deaf people, they've got like their own network of like, it's necessity. Everything that helps them electronically is a necessity to help them in everyday life, right? They're not taking their super senses for granted like us dickheads, you know what I mean? But anyway, this girl's walking along with her phone like that. I'm not kidding, mate. She's just staring at the screen, right? And I just seen this guy coming towards her with a white stick, right? And he's a real blind man going like that with the stick on the floor, right? And I think, oh my word, she's going to walk right into him, and he can't see her. Do you know what I mean? They were like that. They were heading towards, like they were just literally going to walk into each other, you know what I mean? So, I was behind the woman, and the blind man's coming towards us there like that, you see. And I was thinking, oh my word, they're going to bump into each other because the blind man can't see her, right? And she's staring at the phone, and I couldn't sort of go, hey love, be careful, there's a blind man in front of you there. I couldn't be bothered. I just thought, let's see what happens, man. Let's see if she bumps into him, you know what I mean? She's like that. She still didn't even see the white stick or hear him or nothing, like, right? He went like that. His super senses, he walked around her, right? He actually, he walked around the woman carrying the smartphone, going with the thumbs, like giving it beans with the thumbs all every 5 seconds, you know what I mean? So the blind man could actually see better than a person with 2 working eyeballs, you know what I mean? His super senses were better than hers. And you know what, man? He walked around her, and she just carried on a straight line. She didn't even see him. She didn't even realise she was walking towards a blind man, right? That's how ignorant she was, right? Sucked in by it, you know what I mean? Right. So that's how I did that was my first speech. Now think about how long ago that was, guys. We're talking, I don't know, lost count. 8 years maybe, 7 years. And I'm talking about like a blind man having better super senses than a girl with eyesight and hearing and everything. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, guys, you've got to realise this. Your senses are being tapped into. You've got to understand what's happening. Your senses are being tapped into. And they're experimenting. So I can't do nothing. If thousands of people don't listen to me and they won't get rid of them phones, you don't come like trying to speak to me when I'm on a different planet because there's no phones allowed. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've got to make it like, we've got to be strict. If you got a phone, look, man, if you need to make a phone call on the move, you just need, just dropped something there. Did you hear that then? Like the microphone picked it up. If you play back when I picked the phone, something fell on the floor and it was a pin. You know what I mean? You say like you can hear the pin drop. That's how good this microphone is. But anyway, I've been trying to tell people, and not because I'm against phones or nothing like that. Oh man. So we're not seeing some proof of things going on with what happened recently, the lockdowns, right? And then they're making it, right, Now, the first thing in my mind was like, wow, why didn't I stock up? Because it could have been permanent. For all we know, it could have been permanent, the whole thing, couldn't it, right? And I was sitting there thinking, why didn't I stock up? Why didn't I buy thousands of tins of soup? Why didn't I buy thousands of pairs of underpants and socks when I could have? Do you know what I mean? But the lockdown lifted, and we got a bit of a chance to get into the shops and whatever, and we're going to have to... But you got to do things, guys. You got to think seriously. Think about when everyone went mad needing toilet rolls and everything, right? That's nothing, isn't it? That's nothing. Needing to wipe our bums. What's that compared to what else we're going to need in the future if it goes wrong again, right? So I was thinking, no, something is definitely trying it on here, man. They're actually testing the waters to see if they can, like... Now, the latest thing is they're making us wear masks, right? I'm not wearing a mask for no one. I'd rather get a disease than wearing a mask, right? Now, if I'm in a shop and I get approached and they say, oh, you got to wear a mask, I'll put the mask on. I'll say, okay. I had to in Liverpool. I went into the Liverpool shop, you know, the Liverpool football shop in Liverpool, in Liverpool 1. I went there, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you got to wear a mask, like, you know what I mean? So I was, okay. And, man, you know when I was walking around, the heat in the shop and the heat in the mask and me bad teeth. Do you know what... Do you know how hard it is for people with bad dentures to put up with that stuff, you know? But anyway, the heat in me mask and everything, you know that shop in Liverpool, the one that sells the Liverpool merch, right? It's like spotlights everywhere, halogen lights and everything in it, and honestly, man, I just felt like I was in a plastic bag. I was like, oh, man, I'm only wearing the mask for a short while, but I don't like it, you know what I mean? I don't like the sensation of it, right? I mean, if it comes to it, man, I'll just buy I'll buy a military spec gas mask, you know, the proper military spec gas mask, and I'll walk around like a... like, you know, they want us all to walk around like fucking military personnel or something. Is that what they're playing at, like? Seriously, guys, if we ever get taken over in the world, like military martial law, whatever, right? Say the coppers or the soldiers pin you down in your street and go, you better do what you're told. You just look at them and just say... Pull the trigger, you shithouse Nazi rat. Just say that to them. Say, pull the trigger, you shithouse rat. You know what I mean? Don't let anyone dictate to you with anything, mate. You know what I mean? Let them shoot you first, or if you can't kill them, like. Because I think it's military. I think the military are testing the ground, right? Now, who runs the military? We've only got the Royal Fusiliers, the Royal Marines, the Royal Navy. We've only got all things connected to the crown, haven't we, right? Now, here's another strange little, dilemma that both the Queen and Prince Charles have got, like, brand new, like, multi-million-pound aircraft carriers just been launched, haven't they? Matching pair, like, you know, the Queen and Prince Charles, you know, the Queen and then the future, like, you know. I'm not knocking them personal, right? I'm not having a go with them personal, but all that money spent on aircraft carriers, just think about it, guys. You know what aircraft carriers are capable of? You leave the ground, like the Ark or something, you know. Well, they think it's their version of the Ark, you know. Think, oh, we'll be safe in here, you know what I mean? It's like nuclear submarines, man. You know, all the military, all the money's going into military, isn't it, right? Who runs the military? The Pentagon in America, the Vatican in Rome, and the royal family in Britain. You know what I mean? Royal this, royal that, right? And it's the crown, right? Now, the governments, we vote for a government, right? We vote for a government to step in, right? And they have to change things or, like, you know, run the buses or whatever, like, get electricity sorted, whatever, right? Now, if the crown is up to no good, right, guys, it's designed so that we don't say anything to the crown. We go, this government's. It's just a front man, it's just a fall guy. The government's just a fall guy for it, like, you know what I mean? It's like when I heard people complaining about universal credit because they messed up when they signed the forms, guys, you know what I mean? It wasn't like anything to do with universal credit, not paying them or something. They messed up, right? So he was attacking Theresa May big time over universal credit, right? Turns out he'd made the mistake in the first place, filling the form in, and his money was delayed. So it's like, look, guys, see what I'm saying? You're attacking Theresa May, even when you filled your form out, when you applied for universal credit. You filled your form out wrong, and there was a delay, and his rent wasn't getting paid. But it didn't stop him slaughtering Theresa May verbally on camera, you know what I mean? And he ended, you know what's weird about, right? Okay, this government does this, does that. What's it got to do with people's looks, guys? What's it got to do with how people look? And these people would go, Theresa May, this was while she was Prime Minister, right? Look at the state of her. Would you go out with her? Would you bang her? They were like, I was like, hang on, what is this? Like a blind date? You're supposed to be talking about the Prime Minister. Do you know what I mean? You're talking about how she's not like, she doesn't turn you on. You're all strange, guys. You're complaining. You know, I'm talking about like the people who watch my channel a while back, and they were complaining about things even when it was going all right, if you know what I mean. Right. Now, it's designed so that we jump on the government's back and we go, the government's and the Boris Johnson or whatever, whoever it is. So if it was Jeremy Corbyn, we'd all be calling Jeremy Corbyn now, wouldn't we, right? Why doesn't anyone say the Crown? Why does everyone say this government, and not say this, the Crown? Why doesn't anyone talk about that? You know what I mean? It's something to do with the Crown. It's inbuilt into the Crown jewels and that. Like, and if we don't go along with what they want, the beast system, because the beast is at the centre of the Crown jewels, the beast in the Bible, right? If we don't go along with it, okay, you don't want to come with us. You don't want to carry a rainbow flag sticking up for the gay folks or whatever it is, whatever the shitty move it is next, you know what I mean? That they're going to try and bend our ears, you know what I mean? Right, and here's my theory about, right? Think about this, right? Everyone's going on about the greys and the fallen angels and stuff like that, right? Wondering where they all come from, right? Now, the Bible tells us, right, if you study it, right, scriptures, right? I won't say the Bible, because Bible just means book in Greek, doesn't it? I could be talking about crossword puzzles if I say the Bible, couldn't I? You know what I mean? The scriptures tell us that, you know, to expect lots of things. I've lost me train of... Oh, yeah, the fallen angels. The scriptures tells us, right, that there was some kind of revolution in heaven, right? Now, that could be anywhere. It could be on the moon, couldn't it, heaven? And you know what I mean? It could be anywhere. It could be like a platform in space. It could be a mothership or something, right? It could be like, you know, Elysium, the film Elysium. And to the people on the earth, the Elysium thing's heaven, isn't it? But it's not. It's just a material world for snobs. It's like, I'd rather be sitting in the street talking to champs than playing golf with a load of yuppies, if you know what I mean. Do you understand? One man's heaven is another man's hell. Right, but the scriptures tells us, right, it clearly says something about, like, these angels were all, like, in revolt. And the Lord, the true Lord, you know, not the plastic Mormon Jesus or any of that crap. I'm getting really volatile about it, guys. Honestly, you should see the pictures of them vandalising Mormon pictures, mate. Because I'm like, I'm not following that bullshit, mate. Anyway, these fallen angels are meant to have been like a problem with God, right? And God had no choice but to imprison them in the earth. Now, just think about that, right? In the earth, where we're born, in this ball we call earth, right? The fallen angels, the demons, were all held prisoner inside this earth, right? Now, how can that be possible? All right, the greys, the alien greys, I think they come from granite. You know what they call the greys, right? They're servants, they're fallen, they're like... Greys are like a magnet. They can either be positive or negative, right? If you teach a grey to be a rapist murderer, it'll be a rapist murderer. If you teach a grey to be an angel, it'll be an angel. Do you understand? They're just empty balloon head shells that are like disposable. Do you understand? From God's perspective, they're like disposable servants, like. Right. But they get to the point, if someone worships them too much, they hail themselves and they basically become religion, if you know what I mean. These fallen angels are responsible for Catholicism, right? Now, here's the crux, man. God imprisoned them on the earth, right? Inside this earth, guys, right? So what have they been doing all this time? They've been working their way up, haven't they, right? Now, I think the fallen angels created royalty and imperialism first, right? Think about it. You're imprisoned deep down under the earth. You're in some kind of chasm down under the earth, and you're not allowed to go on the surface where Adam and Eve are going to start the Garden of Eden, if you know what I mean. Right. I know I'm speaking figuratively here. I'm talking about like luscious land and sunshine and water and all those things, that good stuff on the earth, right? So what did all these fallen angels think of? Like, let's get up there and ruin it for everyone. Let's get up there to the surface and ruin it for everyone. God's got trying to like let, you know, good people take over this earth, right? And now, you know, over the years, if you think of all the fallen angels all being under the earth, right, under the surface of the earth, right, they must have had their own train network or something, you know, as they developed the knowledge of trains and train lines, right? And I don't mean trains with an engine or, you know, with the steam engines. And I mean them, you know, them things what you see in the old films. Let's just put my guitar down. You know them things you see on the railway lines and they've got handles and you go... And you have two people and they push handles and it goes along the train line, right? I think they must have invented them years and years ago, right? Before they invented trains and everything, right? Because think about it. They didn't want to build train lines, did they? Until they knew about the trains, right? But deep down in the earth, if you were starting like... You were a fallen angel, you go, like, the first thing you'd do is start a royal family, wouldn't you? You'd be like, say that's the earth, right? That's the earth. Over here, yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll get an earth. Hold on. Get an earth. Just go and get an earth, man. Just go and get an earth. Explain this, like. The penny must drop. People must realise how serious this is, right? Okay, this is the world, right? I'm sorry, flat earthers, if it's not like a piece of paper, but you know, my eyeballs aren't flat. My eyeballs are like proper, like cylindrical spheres, you know? But look, right, there's the earth, right? You see all the water? There's all the water there, right? Okay. I feel like Archimedes with me globe here, man, you know what I mean? Now, you see the landmass, right? Now, see all that water there? That counts for nothing. It's only on the surface. It's only a bubble, isn't it? It's a fine layer. Right? But that's the gift from God. That's life. That's the water. You know, remember what I was saying earlier about talking to glasses of water and telling them they're amazing and beautiful, like, you know what I mean? If enough people looked at the earth and went, oh, isn't it beautiful, it's beautiful, then the water would start coming, feeling positive. But you know, if someone's up there going, hate this planet, I want to get rid of all these humans, You know what I mean? There's an obsessive fucking crank out there, mate, I'm telling you. Getting us all wearing masks, sad plank. But anyway, you see Australia there, where all the rich people go if they want to go on holiday. Looking for opals. Right, see the water, it's irrelevant, isn't it? Most of it's going to be, it's solid rock, right? And God's imprisoned the fallen angels into it, right? Okay, now if you imagine you're below the surface there in Australia, below the surface, right? You'd become a fallen angel, right? And what you'd have done, harass the Aborigines. Do you understand? You've been like, you're our slaves, you go do what we're imperialists, we're from down below, we're better life people, we're higher life forms than you. We're fallen angels. Do what you're told, Aborigine. Meanwhile, they go over there. The fallen angels that have emerged from over there are going, you Zulus, what do you think you know? We're fallen angels. We're better than you. We've got white skin as well, and we're greys and whatever, or blue or whatever. And so they built a royal family there, like, you know what I mean, right? It's called imperialism, right, guys? And here's the big mystery, you know, they say there's loads of pyramids in Mexico. Imperialists, what does the symbolism tell you? In Mexico, where the pyramids are, there's like just huge carvings of dragons and stuff, do you know what I mean? Right, so imagine that whole ball, and then slowly but surely emerging from down below is fallen angels in all directions, mate. And so they can't go in that direction where the oceans are, unless they can live under the ocean, do you know what I mean? They're all like emerging slowly, right? And what do? The first thing they do is set up imperialism, right? Royal families, right? Now, if you don't believe me, I don't want to go through photographs. I could make this a bit more interesting, talk about photographs. Check out a photograph of the Russian royal family in the 1700s, right? And then check out a photograph of the British royal family in the 1700s, or the Japanese royal family in the 1700s, right? They all wear the same clothes. They all pose the same for the camera. They're all working for the same leader, aren't they? They've all got the same leader. Don't care. They all wear hats with a peak on there. They all wear uniforms with epaulets on the shoulders there. They have stripes on their arms to represent like seniority. Why is it all the same all over the earth, right, guys? Because it's the same fallen angels emerging, making everyone into military, right? And then guess what happens? Guess what happens when we all get their own military? There's military there, there's military there, there's military. Remember, the Queen is the figurehead of here. You know, the figurehead of there is not the Aborigine, it's the Queen, isn't it, right? Bullshit. You know what I mean? I think that's bullshit straight away, right? Canada. Here we go, let's go to Canada. Her Majesty's there as well. Wow. Fallen angel. She's got channels all over the planet, right? The fallen angels, right? As far as I'm concerned, right? And do you know what I've worked out, right? Slowly but surely, you know the railway lines? We think that the railway lines have been constructed on the surface. And then they've dug tunnels down below to say, like, oh, we've got to go through that mountain, so we'll dig a tunnel and that, like. I think them tunnels have been, like, they started building them down below, and what they've been doing is coming up a notch every time. Do you get me? Like, so say you go into a train station that's down below, like London Underground. Underneath that is probably another underground, and underneath that is probably another underground, but it gets more vintage the lower you get into the earth. Do you know what I mean? Right? And instead of people getting on trains, you know, to go from there to there, you know, think about it. If you were in the network, you wouldn't even need to fly a plane. You wouldn't need a passport. You know what I'm saying? You'd just get on in the tunnel, deep below the earth, right? Get on the private train or the thing with the handles. You know, you don't even need an engine, do you? So them things with handles, they go quite fast. You know, you push a handle, manpower, you don't even need an engine. You don't even need fuel. Right, but I reckon those railway lines were there all along, right? And they've been, like, just coming up slowly, like, you know, level at a time until they're on the surface, and it's like, right, let's harass the Garden of Eden, let's harass Adam and Eve, let's harass the human race, God's creation, whatever. Do you see where I'm coming from, guys, right? Because all this business, what we're seeing, it's slavery. Like, they're telling us to wear masks because they want us to be slaves, right? Like I say, I'd love to have been in Nazi Germany when the Germans burned the Reichstag down and all that, like, and they go, you better do as you're told. I'll just go like, sit on that, prick. I'm sorry for me French, guys. I know it sounds mad, like, but that's the way you gotta be, isn't it, right? Wow, what's that average watch time? 10 minutes. Still only one viewer. Right. So, if you go to British train stations, right, guys, this is where it got me, right? This is where it got me. There's a station in Birkenhead called Hamilton Square, right? Just so happens to be one of the deepest train stations in Britain. Right. Now, you don't realise how far down that place is until you know, because you get in a lift, don't we? We get in a lift and we go up to the surface. You don't realise how deep it is. You know how I found out how deep it was? I got on the train and I had my bicycle with me and a load of DVDs in my bag. It was full of Kung Fu DVDs that I borrowed off my brother, right? And I carried it. And the train, I couldn't get off the train at Central Station in Birkenhead. I had to get off at Hamilton Square, right? Because the Central Station was closed. And I thought, nothing of it, I thought, so I'll get in the lift, don't I? You know what I mean? The lift was off, guys, right? And I had to walk up flights of stairs. It was like, I've never seen it. I've only ever seen it once in my entire life, that stairwell. Because it was open for that one time, right? And I had to carry my bicycle and this big bag of DVDs on my back up. And honestly, it was like a block of flats. You know the amount of stairs, like stairwell, 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 stairwell. And I was walking up. I was thinking, I thought it was about like 30 feet under the ground here. You know what I mean? It's like... And I was exhausted when I got to the top of them stairs, mate. I had to carry my bicycle and I got to the top of the stairs and I was knackered. But it made me realise, like, oh my word, how deep is that station, right? Now, this is the thing, right? When you go in there and you're looking up, you know, when you go into British train stations, underground stations, the trains are only that big, right? Think about the trains being about that big. But the tunnels are like You know, at the actual station where the station platform is, the ceiling's going to be like, the ceiling's massive, mate. I'll be like, why did they go to all that length, putting all them bricks in there, all that brickwork, right? Just to make a tunnel for the train to come through, you know, when they can, you know, when it needs to be the size of the train, don't you? You know what I mean? And then it made me realise, I thought, I think this station was here underground for years, and then they slowly open it, like, slowly. You know, there's people using the train lines to go for their own private network, to go from one place to another. And they don't, but the public aren't allowed in on it until they open that station and put a public train in there, you know, that's going to stop at the stations and that. How do we know what we could go on a train under the River Mersey to Liverpool, right, guys? It actually goes under the River Mersey, you know, we get on a train from Birkenhead to Liverpool. How do we know we're actually going into Liverpool? We could, like, there could be like another tunnel turns off and we stop at a station. It's a replica setup. They could do all kinds of things to us, couldn't they? You know what I mean? But you see where I'm coming from? The fallen angels have emerged from Earth, right? Have emerged from the Earth. I'm not being religious here, guys. I'm being practical, right? Practical. They've emerged from the centre of the earth, or from down below, where God imprisoned them. And remember, when God does something to people, right, or to things, or to creatures, he's always watching. They are. Julie's on. Yo, Bruce. Yo, Julie, how's it going? You all right? Yeah, right. So, as far as I'm concerned, right, what we're seeing on the surface of the earth now, we're seeing the signs. Everyone's got the smartphones, right? Everyone's being brainwashed, right? Now it's like, you must wear a mask. You must wear a mask, right? And everyone's going, this government. I'm saying, hold on, what's the disease called? What's the pandemic called? You know, it's named after the crown, isn't it? And no one is suspicious of the royal family. Oh my word. There you go, there's planet Earth, the Archimedes. Yeah, how's it going, Julie? You alright? I don't know if I'm getting them. Oh, yeah, yo, I'm alright in myself. Yeah, are you alright in yourself? Okay, Julie's on, I'm gonna do a song. This is a special tune, this is a special request. So I think I've got the core of what I'm saying over with, right? Regarding fallen angels, yeah, man. Hey, it's a good guitar, this too. Look, Fender. Student size. Nylon strings. Lovely sound, listen. How do you get so low? Where does the spirit go? Where does it go? Where does it go? See, the sound of it, man, that's like, I put new strings on it, really £20 these strings cost, like, the students. 20 quid strings, man, they're amazing, honestly, with these things. Listen to every note, listen. You know. Right. And I'll swap it for your Yamaha. Julie's got a Yamaha, I want it. Cool. Listen. That's amazing, isn't it? You know. Yamaha. There's a Yamaha on the Isle of Man I think of when I'm playing this Fender. Alright, I better stop playing there. What's that? Do we love Eden's Breast song? I can't talk about that, Joe. You know what I mean? Can't talk about that, like. Listen, Mum. We'll all find out one day. We'll all find out one day. No one listens any way. We'll all, I've got nothing left to say. I just want to sing loud, I can't, it's shit. I hate being in this council flat. It's just a house, it's just an office. Don't feel at home. It's just like an office. Alright, so do you hear what I'm saying, guys? The fallen angels have emerged slowly from below, right? The beast is their master. Their controller is called the beast, right, guys? Read the scriptures. Don't be religious. You don't have to join any churches. You don't have to join anyone's organisation or go onto a Bible study thing on YouTube or whatever, right? And someone else will read it for you, right? Just read what it says about the beast, man. Everyone thinks it's a system. It's an actual wild animal, guys, right? But it stays out of sight and it uses its henchmen, right? Now, anyone military organisation, like Hitler, for example, he was a complete servant of the beast, you know what I mean? Hitler was a classic example of a servant of the beast, right? Now, if anyone can correct me on that, right, and tell me that the Nazis were really nice guys and they were really nice and kind and the Gestapo and the SS were really lovely people, well, you know, I'll start to argue, like, you know what I mean? No one believes the beast was behind the Nazis, mate, honestly. But the sad news is it's coming together right now. We've got to get our shit together, right, guys? We've got to get our shit together. It's like, have you ever seen them kids? Watch videos on YouTube, right? Check this out, right? Check this out. And you've got to be self-critical. People have to be self-critical and say to themselves, is Bruce being realistic here about these phones, man, right? Check out footage of, well, I've got 2 recommendations, right? To make you I'm trying to make people think and wake up, and let's get rid of them phones and let's get something else in you know, screens or whatever, I don't know, but we've got to work something out, right? The footage of you know, when parents buy a cheap phone for the kids for Christmas for a practical joke. Check it out on YouTube. It's mainly Americans. It's mainly, you know what it's like. It's mainly Americans, right? The Mickey Mouse Club. Mainly people who are trapped by the Mickey Mouse Club, right? And you check it out. You see like a parent going, "Happy Christmas," you know, to the kid and going, "Here's your present for Christmas." And an American kid will, the kid will, you know, they're like a toddler. They're only a toddler, right? And they'll open the present going, "Ah," and they know it's going to be a phone. You know what I mean? Obviously in their heads it's going to be, it's the latest Samsung, it's the latest Galaxy, it's the latest smartphone, whatever. The kid's opening, like, the kid's opening the wrapper like that, man. And the next thing they see, it's a phone, like, you know, it might be something like that. Or like a phone with a touchpad, but it's shit compared to the top quality ones, right? And do you know what the kids will do? turn on their own parents, right? They actually turn on the parents. They'll be holding the shit phone in the hands, right, looking at it as if to say, like, and they're looking at the mum and dad as if to say, their own parents, remember, their own biological parents, and looking at them to say, is this some kind of joke? Are you being funny to me? You know what I mean? And they bought him a present. They bought the kid a present, haven't they, for Christmas? But then, it's not good enough. It's not fucking good enough. So they look at the phone and they go, and you can see the disappointment in the faces like that, like, you know what I mean? And they're going, what's wrong, honey? What's wrong? Don't you like it? Do you want us to change it? And they're going, and they haven't even got it in them to sort of go, it's shit, I want a proper one. You know, they don't, because they're dishonest, they're being ruled by fallen angels and demons, right? Right. And then at the end of the joke, the parents will go, look, here's the real phone for Christmas. And they'll give them the proper phone that they want. And the kids will suddenly go, oh, mommy, daddy, I love you so much. Man, and my kids talk to me like that, mate. And, you know, if I had kids and I gave them a phone for Christmas and they didn't like it, then I gave them a better phone and they went, now I love you, daddy. Concrete wellies on all the kids. Straight to the River Mersey, you know what I mean? They're not my kids. You know what I mean? If a kid's going to like give me like evil eyes over the phone, you know what I mean? No chance, right? And what's the other thing I was thinking about? You know, just watch the footage. Watch them kids go mad at their own parents when they get a shitty phone for Christmas. You know what I mean? And that's telling you where the human race is going, mate. That's telling you about the whole... They're the kids of the future, remember? They're the adults of the future. They're the adults of the future, and they're little bastards going... Mommy, I wanted a better phone than this. Oh, man, would you trust them kids as your politicians or your police or whatever? Bitch slap. Bitch slap them all. Right, what's the other thing I wanted to make? The other point I wanted to make? Oh, come on, Bruce. That's very important. Poo. To try and put people off the phones, man. You know, because we've got screens, we've got computers, we've got all kinds of things. You've got to understand this, guys. It's in your hand. It's not connected to a wire. It's a remote control. It can... Look, if I put all my personal details on this phone, right? My favourite food, my favourite colour, pictures of my wife naked, whatever. It's like, beep, someone's got a control room. They can just check it all out, man. Tell that joke about the kid going opticians. And they put... a cereal box on their heads. Oh man, you know what? I can't remember that. You know, the kid goes to the opticians, and they put it here. Oh, I forgot it. I've actually forgot that one. Like, it's one of my favourite jokes. You know, one of my favourite jokes. Like the kid goes into a pet shop. The kid goes into a pet shop and he says to the woman behind the counter, have you got any flies? And the woman goes, no, we sell dogs, cats, mice, pets. Don't sell flies. And the kid goes, well, there's one in the window. That's one of my favourite jokes. Little bastard Beelzebub in the window. Alright, man, what was I thinking of about the phones, man? Struggles to close one eye, so they put a seal. No, I can't even remember it. I mean, I remember the joke. I won't say his name, like, but I remember the joke about it. Oh man, what was you going to say, man, about the phones, man? Like lessons to show that, like, to make you realise that, like. Oh man, I've completely forgot, like. But anyway, that's one thing. Watch them kids when they get a phone for Christmas off the parents, man. I mean, ask yourself this question. What would you do if you were a kid and your parents bought you a phone, right? And you thought it was going to be a really good phone, but it was like a phone, but it was shit. Would you hate your parents? You know what I mean? I mean, we used to get like crap presents every year, didn't we? If them kids in America got what we got for Christmas, you know, £10 in a card, man, they would have blown their own... They'd have blown the parents' houses up, wouldn't they? They were us, like. That's what they're like when they get a phone for Christmas, and it's not like the best phone possible, like. Emu, yeah, the emu was... Well, that was... that was, like... the pink emu, like, it was pink, wasn't it? Like, emu wasn't pink, like. On the blackboard. Bet you don't remember your first Christmas present, though, do you? Well, you probably do, probably. Yeah. All right. Well, we've got 3 viewers at the moment. Right. So I've made my point, right. Now, a koala bear. Do you remember that? A little koala bear. That was actually your first legitimate Crimbo present. I remember because me and John got cowboy suits, and John's was better than mine. But it looked a bit flash, you know, it had loads of, it had glitter on it, like. John's cowboy suit had loads of glitter on, yeah, and mine was shit. And I went mad. I was like, why you give him like a better cowboy suit than me? Like, mine's like, you know, this was like fucking Bronco Billy or something, you know what I mean? Mine was like, what's the word? The sarsaparilla kid. Oh, John's was like, you know what I mean? Buffalo Bill's Wild West Circus, man. Rhinestone, yeah. He had like silver glitter all over him, like. That's what, but you got a koala bear that year, like just one koala bear, because that's, you know, all you could relate to, basically. I used to play with it. Oh. Right, so what I'm saying is, right, I'm sure, right, this crown thing, this crown, everyone stop saying the government. It's not the government, it's the crown. You want to realise that, man. Right, and then you go on the website, you know, like the job seekers thing, you know, the universal credit and stuff like that. At the bottom it says copyright crown. The website's copyrighted by the crown. You know, the thing that we're all going mad about, universal credit or whatever, the dole and everything. You know, let's wake up and smell the coffee, folks. You know what I mean? How long have we been on? Can I tell? I don't know. Stream setting. You can't tell. Well, yeah, I can. No, I can't. Yeah, I can. Hold on. Right, okay. Transitions. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I thought to come on right now. What's your thoughts on that, guys? Like, what do you think of my suspicion that, you know, railway lines and tunnels, it wasn't men from the surface going down, putting these things down, working their way down. The fallen angels had the know-how and the technology. Think about it, man. They were like aliens, mate. The fallen angels and the greys, they're not like human beings. They're like, you know, like the criminals in the Superman movie, Zog and things like that, you know what I mean? Zog or whatever he's called. They're like that, mate. They're like the worst criminals you could think of. They'll just do anything to take the piss, basically, out of God's creation, right? They see the earth as God's creation, so they want to destroy it, like, you know what I mean? Do the shrinking man. The shrinking man. Okay. I haven't got nothing to show you, see. Yeah, is it another deck? Okay, yeah, I'll just show you. I could show you something like so. Yeah, I had a brainwave, right? You know me for me busking thing, right? I think I've had to put it off until next summer, like, you know what I mean? If I'm going to go abroad or something, I don't know. I've got to tidy my flat up and lock it all up and secure it, you see, and I'm going like hobo, like, I want to get away from everything, you know what I mean, before it happens again, like. But I've had an idea, you know, these things. These stage passes, you know these? This is a limited edition thing I got with a Gun record, you know, the band Gun, right? You see these, laminate. I bought a laminator yesterday, right, and did an experiment, you know, laminating pictures and stuff, right. I can't cope laughing. Right, so, I was thinking of, you know, making these in advance, make, say, 100 of them or something, right. All numbered, signed, I can sign them as well before I seal them, right. Signed and sealed, right, with a signature. PayPal details. email address, blah, blah, blah. Stick it all on one of these, you know, because if people want, you know, stage passes, they go, yeah, man, this is like, it's not like a CD, is it, or a T-shirt. It's just a piece of paper in a bit of plastic, right? But people could say, like, if they give you the quid, you go, you take a stage pass, you know, and they're on like a, you know, like a piece of lanyard. That's what they call them pieces of string in the business, and a lanyard, whatever the fuck that is, like fucking lanyard. Put the lanyard around your neck, like, but you got a lanyard with it, like, you know what I mean, a little clip in that, like, and it'll have like, here, I'll show you the logo, I'll show you the picture of the logo for me stage passes, right, guys, you know what I mean? And I've showed it before, like, but I'm gonna be boring. I want to be boring, like, I'm a very boring man, you know. See, I'm the incredible shrinking man, the incredible shrinking YouTuber. Right, but I think we are being mocked by the wealthy, right, by the lords, and you know, because I think the fallen angels became hoity. What? Right. Here's a question. What's the difference between me, right? What am I saying here, right? What's what I do? I'll say the same sentence in two different ways, right? I'm going to the shop today to buy some dinner and that. I'm going to the shop today to buy some food for me dinner. Right? That's one version. Right. I'm going to the shops today to purchase my food. Now, I'm saying the same thing. Where does the posh accent come from? I read it once that the devil invented the posh accent so that, like, you could immediately tell the difference between one of them fallen angels, imperialists, and one of the common folks. Do you understand? Let's put it this way, right, ladies and gentlemen. If I was talking like this all the time, right, you'd start to think, my word, Bruce is proper bloody toffee nose, isn't he? Eh? He's a right old toffee nose, bloody. He's got to be worth a few million or something, eh? What? But I don't talk like that. I talk like this, right? I talk like that. I talk like that. But the posh accent, no matter where you are, you could grow up in London, you could grow up in Liverpool, whatever. If you become posh, the accent has been invented. Think about it, man. What's the difference between me going, I'm going to shops, or I'm going to the shops? Does it really matter? When we used to go to school, our English teacher, from whatever is stuck up his arse, lol. Sherry Vera. Exactly. Yeah, Mark, well, I feel a bit uncomfortable at the moment. this vibrator thingy-majig. The battery is going crazy. But, you know, there's my stage pass, right? I'll show a picture of my stage pass to show that, like, I've been busy, man. You know, I've been really busy. I've got to go round a long way because... Pictures. Right, pictures. Oh, I'm in the wrong one, aren't I? Because I'm doing something. See in the corner, there's that thing in the corner. Like, I'm formatting a memory card and it's a pain in the bloody butt. But yeah, I'll do this one more time. I'll show you what I mean. This is my stage pass. Pictures. Dog Skeets. Here we go. Here's the Dog Skeets logos, right? Now look, man, this is what pissed me off. You know, because I didn't get to do nothing last year. Right? Right. So, I think you can see that. You see it says 2019 on that one. You know what I mean? Plums up their bums. Yes, I do apologise. I've got a plum up my backside, and that is why I talk like this. But who invented that accent? Who invented it? Where did it come from? You know, like Nelson and all them people, the Duke of Wellington or whatever, they would have all talked posh, wouldn't they? But the soldiers would have been as rough as fuck, man. Alright, see, that was last year, right? Now here's my latest one, you know, the latest one for the stage. If I do a stage, do you think this will be a rip-off, guys? Look, see, it's 2020. You can see 2020, and it says number one on the dog street tour 2020, and then see the yellow letters at the back of it. It says, "I've seen." Can you see the subliminal? I've seen number one on the dog street tour. Because there's no way you can pay to see me. I'm not going to play in any theatres. No one can buy me. I'm not for sale. Not on YouTube. Spotify or anything like that. You can't buy it. The only way to see it is be there, right? And then you get one of these. You know what I mean? But, you know, with that picture on, I've seen number one on a dog. Access all areas, right? And the other thing is, right, anyone who's bought one of these passes off me, you know, the number one on a dog pass, they'll have a signature on them, right? A serial number, right? I was going to do a limited edition of like 300 or something, right? But see if I can get rid of 100 first, right? That stage pass will allow them anything, you know, if I do any gigs anywhere or whatever, you know. I know I'm going to be dead in a couple of years, so it doesn't really matter. But let's just suppose I carry on playing, like. Gotta sleep, we'll watch the rest tomorrow. Okay, Jules, we'll see you soon. Nighty night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Don't let the bed bugs bite. But if I was selling like something like that for £1, with that, you know, that picture, if that was shrunken down, I've seen number one on a dog, street tour 2020, and you see the words live in the corner, like, it's the only way I'm going to do it, guys. I don't want to be a star. I don't want to be on a record label. I don't want to make, I'm not doing it. I want to make money to make a living, to earn, to eat, right? Because I want to get off the social security and I want to live in any country. Say I decided to move to Czechoslovakia. I want to go to Czechoslovakia. If I decided to move to Russia, I'll move to Russia. I want to move anywhere I want to live because I'm not happy with this country. I think the royals and whatever, the fallen angels amongst us, they're taking the mickey out of us, man. So we've got to do something about it. And you know, the first step is you've got to get rid of your phones. You've got to get rid of your phones, guys. You've got to listen to me and think seriously. Get a really good video camera. Get an MP3 player. Get a shitty phone that you can, you know, as long as you can dial emergencies or tell someone can phone you and say, oh, your tea's in the oven or whatever. If people must talk like that. Just imagine what we're used to without phones, man. But the reason the phones have been planted amongst humanity, right, guys, that's the brand, you know, the way they brand cattle with a stamp, or they put a tag on their ear. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get back to the full size. Would you buy a stage pass? See this? This is just an experiment, this one. You see, 2020. I've got to do some shows outside. I might be going to Scotland soon. I don't know. You know what's weird? I was thinking of going to Glasgow first. Guess what happens? Lockdown in Glasgow again, you know what I mean? Like, oh my word. So here's a different design, 2019. They're already out of date now, you know what I mean? I've got to different designs, posters, whatever, like, you know, I'm going to work on the merch. So they've got some t-shirts and that, like. But number one on the dog, it's not about just me playing music, guys. I'm on a mission to save the human race. I want to meet as many people as I can in the street, man. Do you understand? There's me robot there, look. That's what I am. I'm a robot with a guitar. And the dog's in full control. Do you understand? The dog's in control. Well, imagine that on a t-shirt. It's cool, isn't it? So I've been getting on with the merch and that, like, thinking about planning things. There you go. There's the motorcycle club, the Dog Skeets Motorcycle Club. That's a little bit more like, you know, for people who get closer to number one on a dog, you know, you'll be invited to join the MC, like, you know, you get a little toy motorbike to put on your windowsill. There's the dog there. That's the actual dog that'll be coming on tour with me. Right, and there's the dream, look. There's the dream, like, order some merch. And look at that. I've seen number one on a dog. Alright, I'm waffling. I've done my main speech. I've done what I wanted to talk about. I saw about a blind man in the, you know, in town, walking around someone who wasn't blind, who could see, but she didn't even have a clue he was walking towards her. Now, okay. Now, before I get off, what was the crucial thing I needed to say about... I knew I'd forget. There was something I needed to say about phones to make... I'm trying to make you go, wow, yeah, okay, yeah, I get what Bruce is saying, man. But the fallen angels are coming from down below. They've invented liquid crystal displays, right? They've invented silicon now, right? You know, silicon chips. Now, think about this, man. You know, you see a rattlesnake in camouflage. Yeah, I should have some pictures. Gotta go back again now. I'm trying to show you. I'm trying my best to explain it in like... I'm like a madman warning the world. You know what I mean? And you don't have to listen. You could say, he's off his rocker in, man. Right, pictures again. Sorry about this delay. Let's go. Oh, Brucey. What are we looking for? I've got pictures of camouflage creatures, right? Camouflage creatures. Very interesting, right? It's my theory, you know, on the moon, you know, when we look at the moon and we can't see nothing, all the ships and everything are all designed, so, you know, all the things that are there, they're all camouflaged, you know, so you can't see. It's quite primitive in a way, like. How do you know, Bruce? I don't know nothing. Okay, what are we going for? What was I looking for then? Bruce, camouflage. There we go. Here we go. Little interesting, a bit of an interesting thing. Right, let's just shrink this. Do the shrinky bit. Shrinky dinky. So I can show you. And I want you to be well aware of what's going on in this world, guys. Right? Our enemies are camouflaged. Do you understand? They don't want to be seen. They're camouflaged. Okay. Now, let's get back to this. Interesting pictures to show you. Right, and let me point about... Oh, Bruce. How did it get here? Right, okay. Right, now let's get the pictures up. Now, here we go. Here's the one I wanted to show you. Right, look at this for the picture. Here we go. Possies. Dr. Soulless Death is with us. Prossies. Look, you see this image? What do you see? You see a snake camouflaged in the background. So anyone walking along would tread on it, right? And it'll just snap and bite you or whatever. But what do we miss? It's silicon. It's surrounded by silicon, right? Do you understand? Sand, glass. Look at its eyes, mate. Look at its eyes. Look at its little demonic eyes with its little split, like... It's hiding in the silicon, waiting to spring upon the next victim, right? That's what your smartphones are doing, guys. Inside the silicon chips, inside the workings, at the end of the 7th generation, 8th generation, 9th generation silicon chip, there's going to be more advanced. You know, they're putting stakes in the land, but they're making a big mistake because they're shrinking. It's all tiny. And God's creation is huge. The universe is huge. The vacuum's huge. They can't put the vacuum of space into a silicon chip, right? But do you understand what I'm saying? That is like a snake submerged in silicon waiting for its next victim. Do you understand? It's waiting for its next victim. Right? He's not doing anything nice. He's camouflaged for a reason. It's so no one can see it. Right? Now let's get to the beginning of it. And I'll just give you an example of a lot of these creatures, man, that are... Now, if you think of what, like, you know, the surface of the moon. Let's just suppose on the surface of the moon it had, like, these... like cockroaches or like crayfish or whatever, you know, that kind of like shrimps or something like. But just look at a moth, right? And you see that moth, that's not essentially a camouflage one. That's just a picture of a moth because it was rare and it had been spotted, right? Well, here we go, right? See, that's a rare moth that had been spotted recently. I love moths, actually. I actually love them, like, right? But here we go. Now look at that. What do you see there? Can you see? Just looks like a piece of tree, doesn't it? Looks at your mollusks. Yeah, mollusks as well. We're not even supposed to eat them, are we? The scriptures says don't eat them. Like, and oh man, it's got like they're full of fish shit and everything. Horrible. I hate crabs. I don't like crabs. I don't see any use for them in the world whatsoever. You know what I mean? And it just so happens one of the worst diseases on earth is named after them. Like, but there you can see it like some kind of gecko or something on a tree. See it? So imagine that's the surface of the moon. Do you understand? If that was the surface of the moon, the creature would look like the moon, wouldn't it? You know. I mean, if you were on the moon in broad daylight, unless you go and check things and you turn rocks over, you never know what you're going to find, do you, really? All right, let's go through these camouflage pictures. Quite interesting, you see, guys. I'm quite like... But that's what's happening in the world. Our enemies are camouflaged. They're camouflaged, and they're in technology. They invented silicon chips. They invented touchscreens, liquid crystal displays. You know, an LCD, liquid crystal displays. How many of us can go throughout the day without looking at a single LCD all day, guys? How many of us would be able to do that? How many of us, if we say we got out of bed first thing in the morning and go, right, I'm not going to look at one single liquid crystal display today. So you put your phone away or whatever, look. See the phone, look. It's got like a, you know, liquid crystal display that comes on, right? And I switch it off and everything and I disconnect the SIM card and everything. I go, I'm not even going to look at that. I'm going to spend all day not looking at a liquid crystal display. What happens? In my kitchen, my water meter for me heating, my central heating and my hot water, there's a liquid crystal display to tell me how much there is in it. In my electric cupboard, there's an electric meter with a liquid crystal display on it. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? They've made it so that our eyes have to. There's no way we can live our lives without looking at an LCD, right? Now, LCD, you know what I mean? Hell CD, like. LCD. Alright, there you go. There's another creature. It's a little crocodile, isn't it? Or a caiman or something on a tree. Right? Camouflage. Don't know what the... I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. Some kind of, like to clean your ears or something. It's some kind of caterpillar. It's not really camouflage, is it, that one? Like, I think it's on a coral, actually. It's on a coral, isn't it? It's on a coral underwater. Right. Let's go through. I've collected these pictures. There's our friend there. There's our satanic, evil, slimy little shit hiding in the silicon there, waiting for his victim, like. Slimy little shit. Look at his eyes, man. Alright, what's next? Right, we've got like a kind of insect hanging off a leaf. Right, now do you see the way nature, you see the way like wildlife, that like natural things have designed these things to be camouflage? There we go, look at that. Little fish is invisible. I mean, so do you understand, like, now, if this is all possible on Earth, in these different terrains, in these different territories, if this is all possible on Earth, it's got to be possible everywhere else in the solar system, hasn't it? What we call camouflage, right? And what do soldiers do when they go to war? They wear camouflage. What did they do? They paint the faces so that they hide behind the trees or whatever, like. You know, we're being attacked by martial law. You know, martial... It's all military people. It's the Pentagon. It's MI6. It's the Swiss Guard in the Vatican, you know, which is the Roman Legion, isn't it? They just so happen to be called the Swiss Guard. Hey, I heard the latest story. You know, the Swiss Guard, man. This is how stupid they are, man. Recently, they've they're modernising the Vatican and everything, right? And I heard that, like, you know, the helmets the conquistador helmets that they wear, you know, like Switzerland in Italy wearing Spanish conquistador helmets. It tells you it all, don't it? You know, when the Spaniards went over and killed all the Indians and took all the gold and everything and that, like, this is what it is, isn't it, right? And the fucking Vatican guard wear Spanish helmets, don't they, right? It gives them away completely. Why are they wearing conquistador helmets if they've got nothing to do with the Spanish or the rainforests and Southern America, you know what I mean? But anyway, latest news from the Vatican is, you know the helmets that they wear, them Swiss guards helmets? Because they're too heavy, you know, because they're metal and they're heavy. They now print them on a 3D printer now. They're made of plastic. That says it all, doesn't it? That says it all. The helmets are plastic printed on a 3D printer, mate. Just like the fucking religion, mate. Printed on a plastic printer. Do you know what I mean? If it goes up your nose, you know what I mean? That's what the Vatican's all about. Anyway, there's the camouflage fish, right? Look at this one, man. This moth, you can't even see it, mate. Now think about that. That's the surface. It's a tree, right? But imagine that was the surface of the moon. Do you understand? And we zoom into it with a telescope, and we can see like rocks and everything, and hills and everything, right? Now here's a little clue, right? People took pictures, like, you know, there was photographs from the Apollo missions of like an astronaut walking in a place, right? And some of the rocks looked exactly the same as in another photograph. Do you not see that? Like, some of the rocks. Oh man, they eat McDonald's while they guard the Vatican. Exactly. Well, they go to McDonald's because it's loaded with cocaine. Look, guys, right, I'm not proud of it. I've been involved in parties, right? I've been involved in groups of people, right? Social circles, and everyone's having a drink and that, right? And I got roped in, so I've tasted these things and I've tasted stuff, right? And then months later, someone buys me a McDonald's burger, right? And I'm eating it and I go, wow, that reminds me of the cocaine at that party. Did you understand what I'm saying? I'm just finding things out, like, and it's true. They put it in the burgers, mate, to make people want to buy it. They go to McDonald's for the straws. All right, you see the camouflage there, moth? If I zoom into this, there it is. Look, there's its head. There's its body. Head. I did it in school, right, guys? Insects. Head, thorax, abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen. I did do biology in school, you know. Head, thorax, abdomen. All insects have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen, and 6 legs. Right. Now, remember the astronauts when they were on the moon, right? There's a bit where you hear, like, one of the astronauts talking, and he says, oh, just some critters. And they don't mention what they're talking about. They mention something. They say critters. What do you reckon they're talking about, guys? All right, here's another one. You see, this moth looks like a bit of whatever that's supposed to be. What was it? Light. Oh, I don't know what it's called. It's like a fungus of some kind, isn't it? You see the moth? Now, just imagine that's on the moon. That's the moon. It's not Earth, right? Now, there could be creatures all over the place and they're designed to look like the background. Do you understand? Right, here's another one. That literally is another moth. Moths are like really good at it, aren't they, man? You know when these moths grow up, did they sort of grow up conscious? Like, did they say to the mums and dads, I want a jacket to match the tree? You know what I mean? Did they get the clothes for Christmas to go like, what do you want for Christmas? Do you want your clothes and that for Christmas? Go, I want a jacket and a pair of pants to match that tree there. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Where did it come from? How did this happen? You know, obviously it's part of creation, isn't it? It's too complicated. It's too complicated for there not to be a God, isn't it? Right. But this is designed so they don't become food, isn't it? You know what I mean, right? So they don't become food, right? That's some kind of... oh, there it is. There's a crab there, isn't there? See the white crab? Oh, man, look at that. Hey, there's one of them. Look, see, there's one eye there and one eye there. There's his pincers. There's his pincers there. And it's in the coral, isn't it? It looks like the coral. Designed to look like the coral. Right, more camouflage. Now, I'm telling you guys, our enemies are not visible, right? And you know what they want us to do? Attack each other. They want us all fighting each other. They want us all kicking off on each other. Black Lives Matter, whatever. They want black guys and white guys to start arguing. They're just going to hide invisible amongst us, the enemy, in the silicon or whatever, in the woodwork, and they're going to try and make as much trouble on Earth as possible, right? That's a spider, by the way. I think it's a wolf spider, if I'm not mistaken. You can just about make it out in the back. Imagine that's on the moon. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Imagine that's the moon, and that spider is like, say, 50 foot across, or it's like 50 foot wide. Do you know what I mean? And it's on the moon and no one can see it because it looks exactly like the background. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's what dragons do, you see. Have you ever looked at a dragon properly, right, and realised that they're camouflaged? Well, I don't know, Bruce. I don't really see many dragons about these days, you know what I mean? Well, that's what they do, mate. They're in camouflage on the moon, mate. And you know the way we're used to eating, like, food and sandwiches or bread or whatever? Dragons eat rocks, mate. They eat rocks. Like, it's like... and people, probably. Now, I'm not sure that one. Oh, yeah, there it is. There, little insect there, look. It's there. Look, you see its antennae there. Weird. Don't know what that is like. Another camouflage creature. They're among us, my friends. The enemy is among us and we still have not recognised it. You see this leaf? It's not a leaf, it's a creature. Now, there's proof that God is real because he's made it look like a leaf, man. Unless... man, you know, when a leaf was a kid, he went to school, when that insect was, when he went to his nursery and he said, what do you want to be when you grow up, son? He's like, I want to be a leaf. Like ambition, go to the careers office job centre, get a job as a leaf, man, you know what I mean? So you look good leaf, you know what I mean? Can you see that insect, by the way? Is it clear enough? Yeah. Okay. All right, here's another one, another camouflage creature in the load of leaves. Right? Just think about this, guys. I'm only scraping the surface. I'm only talking about like a few creatures. Our enemies are among us. The fallen angels, guys. They can look like humans. They can look like humans. Has anyone ever seen the X-Files episode about the baseball player who's an alien? If anyone's still watching, free watching, right? There's free watching. There's an X-Files episode and Agent Mulder talks to an old school professional baseball player from the 50s in America. You know, he's getting on a bit, like he's in his, like, you know, 60s or whatever, and he used to be a baseball star in the 50s or the 60s, right? And he tells Agent Mulder, I didn't see it. Oh man, I've got it on video, right? I've actually got a VHS tape of it, and if I can somehow transfer it, just check it, go online, right? Go on YouTube and type X-Files baseball player alien or baseball player grey, alien grey, right? And the whole episode is about this old guy. He's talking to Mulder about the past when he used to be a star, right? And he's telling Mulder that, you know, the big hitters, the guys that could like hit them like Babe Ruth and all them lot, they were like exceptional. They could hit the ball without thinking twice. Mulder says to this baseball player, are you trying to tell me that some of the American champion baseball players were aliens? And the fella looks at Mulder and he goes, I'm not telling you that some of the top baseball players were aliens. I'm telling you all the top players were aliens. Now think about that, guys. Shape-shifting, they can look like humans, right? But they've got exceptional abilities, which means they'll sell merchandise or bubblegum cards or t-shirts or whatever it is, right? Right? Now, it's the most interesting X-Files episode I saw. Some of it was shite, wasn't it? It was like carrying us along, right? I didn't see it when it was released, you see. I watched it in retro, right? But the young baseball player, the story's about the young baseball player who's an actual alien. He's like a black dude and he can shapeshift into an alien grey, you know what I mean? He actually shapeshifts on camera, you know what I mean? Right? And the other aliens, the other fallen angels, come back to Earth to take him because he's getting into the idea of being a baseball star too much. He's not doing his job. He's not being like a deceiver, deceiving the public as an alien, as a baseball player, and just taking, winning people's support. He starts getting into it, and he's starting to love the fans, and he's not supposed to do that, right? So they send these aliens to Earth to make him leave the game or die. He's got to die. If he doesn't want to leave and go with them, he has to die because he's got too attached to humanity. It's really interesting episode, right? But I always thought the Americans in the Olympics years ago, they were too good. Remember Mark Spitz, the swimmer, and people like that? They were too good, man. You've got to think about that. They could have been superhuman or extraterrestrial. Do you get me? Like, think about the easiest way to make a load of money, man. Put an alien in a football team or whatever, or a cricket team or a baseball team, and he's amazing. And everyone wants to buy the t-shirts, don't they, But it's a really interesting episode if you find the clips of it, like, and it's quite sad in a way, because you feel sorry for the alien, the guy who's an alien and he wants to play baseball. He's fallen in love with it. Steroids. Steroids, man, the scourge of mankind. Have you noticed that one of my old friends used to be like, he got hooked on steroids and he went bonkers over it, right? And the first thing I noticed about him, he was living with a chick at the time, like, and he went proper male chauvinist, like, he'd be dead friendly to all the lads. He'd be friendly to me, he'd be friendly to any lads who spoke to him. But he was very rude to his wife, his girlfriend at the time. Like proper male chauvinist. It's like steroids make them like chauvinists, don't they? But with the other dudes, like, "Hey, how's it going? Yeah, me friends, yeah." Oh, it's crazy, man. It should ban steroids. Anyway, the starfish is invisible there, right? Camouflage starfish. Let's go to the next one. I'm trying to speak interestingly as I go along, like waffle, but like with fun. That's a nice little, like, that's probably poisonous. That'll probably put me on my back for like 10 years if I tried, to catch it, like, so. Look at the fish, it's cute. Fucking poisons and kills me in 5 seconds. Cute little fish, look, wow. Sting. Right. Here we go, isn't it? Look at that ugly fucker. Like, in the sand. Another one in the silicon, right? This is underwater, this one, isn't it? That's a fish, isn't it, right? It's still in silicon, isn't it? Sealed in water, but it's in the silicon, isn't it? The sand, the silicon chips. The fallen angels have been using them for years. Look at that owl, man. I mean, that is peculiar, isn't it? It just looks like a tree trunk at first glance. And, man, just imagine that owl's on the moon. Owls on the moon. Owl? Invisible owl, right? Now, look at that, man. You can barely see anything there, can you? You know what I mean? And, man, I have to really struggle to check that out. I think it's there. It's some kind of... Is it a spider or a bird or what is it? Answers on a postcard. Surface of the moon. Camouflage creatures and spaceships. Camouflage spaceships. Do you understand? Does anyone understand the principle of that? Like making a spaceship look like a really stupid, shitty rock. So that no one even sees it, like. Right. Yeah, there it is. There's some kind of... yeah, see the antennae there? These little radio signals going beep, 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 beep. Keeping them in touch with... Right, I think that's the last of the camouflage pictures, isn't it? I think. Oh, what a shame. Oh, no, there's more. There we go, that's an interesting one. Like a moth that's like moss. Or what's it called, that stuff? Like ligens or lichen. The moss. I'll tell you what, man, these moths are like really... You know what's weird about moths? No one's frightened of them. No one thinks they're like, I love them, you know what I mean? Like, they're like butterflies, aren't they? They're like really nice to look at and everything, right? And they're like a big cockroach, really, aren't they? They're like a cockroach with fur. It's like a hairy cockroach with wings, man. Head, thorax, abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen. Wow, Look at that, that's some kind of gecko, some kind of lizard. Here we go, you know what I'm saying? Like the lizards, the reptiles, right? Now, that's obviously a nice little friendly little creature, right? Imagine if it was some kind of like, you know, humanoid shapeshifter, like watching us like from a tree. Moth's wings are attached different than a butterfly. Yeah, I believe so. It's with they're completely different creatures, aren't they? You know what I mean? But if you look close at a moth, it's like a big hairy cockroach, isn't it? Right? So as you look at a butterfly, they don't. They haven't got that like. I love moths, like I say. I don't know why we can't look at cockroaches in the same way. You know what I mean? They're just pests, aren't they? You know what I mean? Whereas moths, they're like big flying roaches to me, man. But they look cool. You know what I mean? They look cute instead of horrible and brown and like sticky, sweetie brown, like cockroaches, like sticky brown looking things, man. Uncle Joe's mint balls with legs. Right, okay, next one. Oh, look at that spider. Wow. See, that's on the moon. Right, just imagine that's the moon, the surface of the moon, instead of a tree. You know what I mean? That's the surface of the moon. Not literally, obviously. Theoretically. Yeah, that vid, where the bird flew in your apartment was the same day Michael Jackson died. You know what? You could be right there, man. Because I did film the funeral through the telly about the same time. I'll have to check that, you know. I'll go back and check that. Yeah, well, this is it. Every time a pigeon comes into your house, it means it's someone who's died. You know what I mean? If a bird flies into your house and they're like lost or they're trying to escape, it's a human soul that's about to leave the earth, I think. But yeah, it could have been Jacko, couldn't it? Birds going in the home is a spiritual thing, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching a film, John, what was the film called? Oh, I think it was called Parking, I think. Or The Car Park, or something like that. It's an Irish film, right? It's an Irish film. And the very beginning of the movie, you see a guy and he's sleeping in his car. Right, he's sleeping in his car you know, he's living in his car because he split up from his wife or whatever. Middle-aged fella. And the first thing you seen was he woke up in the morning and pigeons was trapped in it. He came through his car window and it was trapped trying to fly around, you know, trying to escape. And I said to my brother, he'd watched the film, and I said, by any chance, does someone die? Does someone he know die in this film later on? And he goes, yeah, how do you know that? I went, because there's a pigeon in his car, like, tell him, and, you know, it needs to be freed. It needs to be released. And later on in the film, it's a drug addict. He has an overdose, you know what I mean? But it's a very interesting... Park, I think it's called. Park. I think it's simply called Park, the film. And it's really good, like, but the pigeon at the beginning, as soon as I seen it, I knew there was going to be a tragic end because the pigeon was, like, trapped in his car. But there we go. That's another camouflage spider. Look, that's on the moon, right? And look, see, now imagine that's a satellite, like, you know, Google Moon or whatever, and it's zoomed in. And that's like a crater or something on the moon, man. Just imagine if they sort of went, hang on, there's something there, isn't there? Like, and then they looked a bit closer and they went, oh, fuck, it's a big giant cockroach. It's an octopus on the moon. All right, let's see. Any more pictures? Do you see what I'm saying to you guys? I'm trying to tell everyone that, like, our enemies are among us, right? And they're taking the piss out of us, man. They're mocking us. They think we're stupid. They're making us wearing masks. We should go all out and just buy the full-blown gas mask, innit, guys? You know, the proper gas mask, like, you know what I mean? Like, military spec. And then they'll be probably coming up to you in the shops going, you can't wear that in here. I'll be like, hey, I haven't fucking got to wear a mask. I'm wearing one of, like... Hey, Batman's mask is the complete opposite, isn't it? His whole head is covered, but his face is... It's like Batman's mask. The only place is not covered is his nostrils and his mouth. Here we go. Here's a red, like, shrimp. Like a shrimp. Right? See, that's amongst the red coral. Red. Mars. Imagine that's Mars. That's the surface of Mars or something like. There was a little bit of water there or something like, but... That's like a camouflage. That's like 90 foot long, like, you know what I mean? And it eats people and astronauts. You know. There's a big leaf with legs. I said, Mum, what do you want to be when you grow up, son? I want to be a leaf. I mean, are they aware, you know, these creatures, are they aware that they look like a leaf? You know the way they say that the human race, you know, humans, we're the only species on Earth, right? The only living creatures on Earth that know we've got to die sometime, right? No other creatures know. They've got, you know, from an early age, we can learn from like 10 years old or something that we've got to die, you know what I mean? Right. And we're the only creatures that can have sex looking into each other's eyes. That's another one. And, you know, obviously, like, gay folks aren't welcome, are they? You know what I mean? They're obviously, like, you know, backdoor buddies, man. The only eyes they want to have eye contact with is a brown eye, innit? Humans are not meant to naturally live here, I don't think. Yeah, I think we're trapped here, like. I think the angels, the fallen angels, were trapped here first, right? And they've engineered life, haven't they? They've engineered it, right? Because why do they engineer humans? Because they need servants, they need slaves, they need soldiers, they need people to do everything for them, right? I think the Mayans, the Aztecs, they were all slaves for, like, I know it sounds crazy, but you know, like Predator, you know, the creature Predator in the film Predator. Just imagine Predator was real, or the race of predators were real in South America, running rings around all the Indians and the tribe, and what the Indians had to do is kneel for them and do everything for them so that they don't kill them. And then in exchange, they start showing them how to make weapons and stuff. And, you know, them I always look at them pyramids in Mexico especially, and I just go, advanced extraterrestrial warmongers. They're landing, the big pyramids in Mexico are like landing stages for a spaceship, man. I think some people do have invisibility, yeah. Well, this is a weird thing. I'm into stones, right? You know, rocks and stones. And I don't mean in a kind of, you know, I mean like geologically sort of interested in them, like, right? And there was an old legend amongst American Indians that, you know, the stone topaz, if they held a good quality piece of topaz in the left hand or the right hand, it made them invisible. And I can very well believe that the Indians would know how to do that. You know what I mean? That's just pick a piece of topaz up, just disappear. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I've looked into stones big time, and if the possibilities, depending on, remember the rich folks, they made crown jewels. Think about it: crown jewels, diamonds, scepters, orbs. You know what an orb is, don't you? You know what I mean? An orb. You know what I mean? An orb. But they're made of precious metal, covered in precious stones, with a crucifix on top. Do you know what I mean? What they call an orb. It's a replica of Earth made of precious metal, isn't it? That's the whole idea of it, like, you see. Right. So forcing us to wear masks, I think we're seeing signs of the reptilians. Only reptilians could be so ruthless and go make them wear masks. It's you know, we're all gonna die fighting them. I think, like, it's gonna be fun, like the French Resistance, but like Earth Resistance. You know what I mean? Earth Resistance. We'll start singing in French. Right, so look at that one there. It's like a shrimp, isn't it? Like a crayfish or a shrimp, or that's still, like, you know. Do you realise what I'm saying about, look, all these creatures are so different from one another, yet they're all camouflaged. Do you know what I mean? There we go. There's a moth. Another moth looks like a leaf. I think some people do have invisibility. Look, head, thorax, abdomen. Remember that for your O-level biology exam, Bruce. Right, this is some kind of lizard or gecko or whatever. Skink or something. See, it's exactly the same as the branch. Now, if this is going on Earth, around us in different terrains, what's going on? That's terrestrial. Like, extraterrestrial means, it doesn't mean you're from another galaxy. It doesn't mean you're from another planet. Extraterrestrial means that you can survive in different terrains as opposed to other people. You know, like someone might be Nesh and they can't stand the cold and they wouldn't stand a chance being in, like, you know, Moscow or somewhere, right? But a Muscovite, a person who lives in Moscow, it's nothing to them, you know what I mean, right? That doesn't make the Muscovites extraterrestrial, does it? But extraterrestrial is when you can handle things. I mean, I always remember seeing a programme about scorpions when I was a kid, right? It was actually David Attenborough, and he put the scorpion in a block of ice, man. He put it in water, right? And he froze the scorpion in water. He froze it, right? So it was in ice. It was actually in a block of ice, frozen, right? And he you know, it was Richard Attenborough, you know, or was it David Attenborough, you know, the scorpion stays still in the block of ice, not knowing what it's going through. And then what they did was they put it in an oven, you know, in an actual stove that was like 250 degrees. And the ice melted dead quick, you know what I mean? It just literally melted to water, right? And the scorpion realised it was too hot and stayed still and didn't move. Right. The scorpion realises that the temperatures are much more than it's used to and remains still until it feels safe. Right. And then they turned the heat off, right, and brought the scorpion out of the oven, right, and guess what it did? It just walked around like it was nothing, mate. It was in ice, in a block of ice 1 minute, frozen, right? Then it was in an oven where it's just like, and I mean from extreme freezing cold to red hot oven. And then just enough time to melt the ice. And the scorpion realised it was in a ridiculous conditions and it stayed still. You know, its armour stayed, you know, intact. And then they let it out of the oven and it walked around like nothing had happened to it. Like, now, can we do that, guys? Can we be frozen in a block of ice and then put in an oven? No chance. Can we? We can't, can we? Do you know what I mean? We've got to realise that, man, that they're among us, you know what I mean? This world is extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial means you can survive on more terrains than the next creature. Okay, now whatever is this? This looks like a salad. This is a salad. The salad decides to go for a walk. It's got pecans on it and everything. Do you think that's going to be a moth one day or a butterfly, isn't it? And it's probably going to be still be camouflaged. Right. Now there's another one. That's some kind of lizard. It's invisible. Yeah, we've seen one similar to that earlier on. I think, I've always been intrigued by camouflage. Because it's, I mean, we haven't got no camouflage whatsoever, have we? You know, humans, man. We're like, we might as well be a star, mightn't we? Like, sort of, hey, I'm over here. You know what I mean? We're designed to just be seen, aren't we? Unless we paint our faces and wear the garb, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay, here's another spider. Here we go. Another terrifying concept. Just imagine that's the moon. Look at this. Look, it's even got, oh my word, see there, it's got like like what looks like a face there, like an eye there, an eye there. Head. There's no head, is there? The head is part of its body. And then it's got an abdomen. It's just a thorax and an abdomen. And 8 legs instead of 6, man. Isn't that creepy, man, when you think about it? Like, we don't see these things in our everyday world, do we, right? This is the point I'm making. But we do look at a lot of LCDs, you know, liquid crystal displays. I love this one, the snow leopard. I love snow leopards. Look at the way that snow leopard blends in with the stone and the rock. Lovely creature. I once saw a documentary, right, about snow leopards, right? I think I've got it on tape somewhere, actually. And this guy was an obsessive wildlife photographer, and he wanted to film the snow leopard in its wild terrain, right? So remember, these are like leopards. In Africa, leopards are used to the sun, aren't they? You know what I mean? Whereas in Tibet and places like that, leopards are used to the snow, the cold weather. They're not jungle creatures, are they? They're rocky creatures. You can see the way it looks like the rocks, right? Well, this guy, right, he managed to catch this leopard, this snow leopard in the wild. He filmed it and everything, and he managed to catch it. And he put a thing on it, a tracking device on its collar, like a proper, modern tracking device. And then he let it go, and he was following it on his computer, and he's going, right, it's there now, it's there. And then you know what it did? It disappeared off his computer. It completely disappeared off his computer. He couldn't even track it, mate, even though it was wearing a tracking device. And I thought, man, that is something else, man. That leopard might have a spaceship, or, it might be a super creature maybe and something, but for it to completely disappear off the radar was a bit crazy. Like, and then it showed up again a couple of days later. He found it, and he thought it had died or something, you see. And the wildlife photographer was like, I don't know how it's possible for the tracking device to be invisible. We couldn't find it. We couldn't, and I was like, look, you got to stop doing this to creatures, man. Stop tracking them, stop following them when they don't want to be followed. Or humans, you know what I mean? Like us as targeted individuals, we don't want to be tracked and followed and tormented, do we? We want to be left alone, right? And that's what wildlife is like. We're like wildlife. All we're doing, we're not saying to people, if you keep an eye on us, we won't do anything bad. We're saying, like, you leave us alone. We're not doing anything bad. We haven't intended anything bad. I mean, I feel like, oh man, there's a lot of things going on in my world, and I'm thinking, look, they're trying to track us. I feel like I've got chips in me and everything. But if I disappear off the radar like that snow leopard could, doesn't it look cool, man? Lovely creature. Beautiful animal. That's a big cat, mate. That's a big cat. But you see the camouflage is all. It's like, wow. If you were standing at a distance, you wouldn't see that, would you? There's a little, we are from Planet Green. You must smoke our weed or you will die. Everyone must buy our strains and smoke our crappy modern day inventions or you will perish. But I just want some old school weed. I just want some nice proper old school, like nice solid Afghani solid or Moroccan black or something. No, you must smoke our green from our artificial tents and lights, or you will be left behind by the lizard people who invented weed. Skunk. Skink. A skink. Ain't it funny? No one likes skunks, do they, man? And they're cool, aren't they? Red hairs. Yeah, the red hairs, exactly. What's it called? The film, it's just been released on one of the thingies, The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element? The girl in it, she's in a tank at the beginning of it. She's in a glass tank, isn't she, at first? Like in a laboratory, right? She's a bud, isn't she? She's an actual living weed plant. She's got, like, orange hair, like the pistils on the weed. It's the Dutch are obsessed with orange, aren't they? In Ireland, that's their colour, orange, isn't it, right? It's because of that. It's because of the pistils on the weed, isn't it, right? Right. Now, no one smokes weed that's male, do they? We all want, like, female plants, don't we? So the whole thing's like a female, like... That's where gingers come from and redheads, man. Do you know what I mean? There's something to do with cannabis plants. Or, the film Little Shop of Horrors, where he has a plant, doesn't he, and it turns into a monster. Well, your bird can do that, can't you? Your girlfriends can be like that. Like, you start off all nice and quiet, and then she's a beast. What's that like? Because it's better than dark brown with big black seeds. Yeah. Venus plants. Oh, the Venus flytrap. Oh, Venus plant. Yeah. That's what it is, isn't it? It's like the painting of Venus with the silly painting of the woman in a shell. It's the misconception. They're overdone it. The pimp needs to sell the products, doesn't he? So he's got to make them seem greater than they actually are. Do you understand? Like, I mean, how many of us have been? When you've been in a relationship, right, and you've been like banging away for like week after week after week. You get bored, don't you? I don't care who you are, man. Everyone gets bored of sex, man. Venus de Milo, yeah, exactly. See, the plants themselves are like taking over people, aren't they? I mean, I know people, right? I know a couple of people in my life, and they can't live without getting stoned. Like, if they don't get stoned, they'll crack up or start going moody or whatever. Like, now, I actually like being straight. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it shouldn't be illegal. It should be actually, people should be allowed to grow it themselves. That's where the clause is, isn't it? The tent is a cube, isn't it? You know, the tent that everyone's growing the weed in, it's a cube, right? The cube is the centre of the swastika, right? The cube is the centre of the swastika. You know, the swastika on a medal or whatever, it's like raised. You think of the structure of a swastika, and at the centre of every swastika is a cube, and at the centre of every cube is a grow tent nowadays, you know what I mean? And the Nazis know everything. The Nazis invented amphetamine. The Nazis invented methadone. Do you know what I mean? Klaus Barbie, you know, the Nazi criminal, he brought cocaine into Europe, you know what I mean? The Nazis seem to know a lot about selling things to make you, like, acquiesce, don't they, you know what I mean? Would you buy a used car off this man called Adolf Hitler? No, you wouldn't. Alright, so here's another one. Here's another one, the moon one, you see? This way we go. This way we get moon. See the colour? Oh, about them. Baseball players have been doing meth for decades. Wow, you mean like methadone? Or you mean crystal meth? Like methadone is, the Nazis invented it. Right, it's green. Have you noticed they don't make methadone any other colour but like green. You know what I mean, right? The green fairy, you know, absinthe. You know, the drink absinthe, which is green, and they used to call it the green fairy. But you can get different colours of absinthe. You can get golden coloured, can't you, and red coloured and that, right? They always make sure methadone's green, man. You know why? You know why methadone's green? Because it's something to do with emeralds. Do you know, I think, you know, in the crown, when I say the crown, the crone or whatever, like, crown jewels, they choose colours to match it up to precious stones. And methadone's like, it's got to be linked to emeralds somewhere, like, you know what I mean? Because they don't do it any other colour, do they? You know what I mean? But the Nazis invented it. Actually invented by the Nazis. Why would the Nazis invent methadone, guys? You know why? Because they had plans on getting everyone into heroin and then shortchanging them. When they're addicted, then they've got to go to the doctor every day. Emerald, yeah, Lucifer, they reckoned the emerald, when Lucifer was cast out of heaven, they reckon an emerald fell out of his head. Because, you know, when you look at, you've seen the David Bowie video, Black Star, and they find that there's a girl on the moon and she finds an astronaut and he's got jewels in his skull. You know, it's like an astronaut, isn't he? And he's got all like diamonds and jewels and turquoise in his skull. He must have been some kind of tribal leader or something, some kind of king. I don't know if it's based on something David Bowie might have known for real or he's just invented it, right? But it's interesting, isn't it, right? Which means that that's what the royals do, don't they? They buy the places in space for themselves, or the liners, or the fastest planes, or whatever. Concorde or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's really interesting, that Black Star AS astronaut. That's Brown Star, isn't it? Yeah, they've always had it right. That was my speech today. Was what I started the speech was about, like, the fallen angels have invented things from down below, and they're working their way up with the technology, and we're all buying them phones, man. I'm not, like, you know what I mean? I'm not in the phone network. I'm not having it, like, but yeah, but like for Lucifer to have had an emerald inside his head, it makes you think, doesn't it? The skulls they've actually decorated them, because that's what the Bible says, doesn't it? It says Lucifer was a beautiful angel once upon a time. They could have been like, he was encrusted with jewels and all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? Now, what do royal people do? What did he do when they wear earrings that are made of precious stones, pearls, diamonds, tiaras? They make sure they walk around with precious stones on their body no matter what, don't they? You know what I mean? Which means like things like Lucifer or whatever, they probably did have stones in them, like, you know, as like they've been in bejeweled is the word, isn't it? Bejeweled. Strange world though, innit? Like we wouldn't want to entertain it, would we? You see the moth there, that could be on the moon, couldn't it? Do you understand the colour there, the grey? That's like, I mean, anytime I see moths like grey, anytime I see grey in wildlife or wild, you know, nature or whatever, it just reminds me of cigarette ash or moon rock. It's either cigarette ash when it's crap or it's, you know, moon rock. Bedazzled, yeah, man. Okay, let's keep going. Let's finish with these photos. But that's how I started talking. See, I can't even make out that creature, whatever it is there, like. Yeah, I can. Yeah. There's its head. That's his head there. Then there's his body. And there's his tail. Yeah. Oh, man. Isn't it amazing how many of these creatures I've shown and they're all different and they're camouflaged? Here we go. There's a cheetah in the long grass looking for a deer or a buffalo or a gnu. Looking for a gnu sandwich. A cheetah. Excellent. Wow, my thingy's saying excellent connection now, and then it says warning. What's it playing at? Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? It looks like a what are flowers called? Oh man, what are flowers called? Orchid. An orchid. Looks like an orchid, doesn't it? And it's an insect. Just looks like an orchid. A lotus, that's the one, yeah. It does, it looks like a lotus, yeah, you're right. Are that crazy or what, man? I mean, where do we see these? None of us ever see these, do we? You know, we've got to look into camouflage creatures to find, you know, like... Yeah, there's another one that reminds me of the moon, look. See, the moths especially. See, imagine that moth was on the moon. Or it was a spaceship. No one would be able to see it, would they? Looks like a cat praying. Yeah, it did. Let's go back again. Wow, it does, doesn't it? It's very strange, isn't it? Well, it's weird the way they call mantises praying, isn't it? You wouldn't think of a praying mantis being ruthless, would you? Have you ever seen the footage of it's a Chinese kid and she's got like a little bowl of water with a little goldfish in it, you know, just a little cute goldfish swimming around. And she lets the praying mantis get to the end, you know, she's got it as a pet. And she lets the praying mantis pick the fish up and start eating it. It literally picks the fish up out of the water and starts munching it straight away. It's quite it looks like an alien, you know what I mean? Praying mantis, like. Just go with praying mantis and goldfish. And it's quite scary, like, because like, it makes you realise how ruthless praying mantises are, and they do look like aliens, don't they? And have you ever seen people's accounts of when they meet higher life forms? They always say there's a mantoid there, like a creature that looked like a mantis. Do you know what I mean? Like who's like the superior voice of everyone, like. See, there is a world, you see, where insects, mice, frogs, toads, it's where we meet as humans in the psyche. That's the extraterrestrial realm. It's like, it's all like metaphysical and spiritual, like. Really deep, this speech tonight, isn't it? Yeah, here we go. Here's the fella waiting in the silicon. There he is there, mate. Hiding in the silicon. Waiting for his next victim. The horned viper. Oh man, I keep belching like I don't know what the... Look, the horned viper. That does not say at all, man. In the silicon. Like, every computer, man, is run... Everyone complains, don't they, that the computers are like Microsoft and it's usually Intel, isn't it? You know, Intel. Yorkshireman Intel. Oh, it's great Intel, isn't it? Like, go to Yorkshire, there's trouble at mill. going to Yorkshire, like going down to going into L, going to invent a silicon chip and a load of video games that all the people are going to start buying and go mad. And we'll call it Sim City. Sim City, and now everyone's got a fucking SIM card in their phones now. There we go. That's the horned viper, mate. Have you ever seen a picture of a Mrs. Horned Viper and Mr. Horned Viper? They look the same. They both got horns. Well, you know what I mean. Now the horned devil sign could be that, couldn't it? You know that business, like that could be like the horned viper. But I want people to say, look, man, it represents a buffalo or a bison, you know. Oh man. Keep belching, man. It's not good. Okay, next picture, next camouflage picture. Let's see. Here we go, there's another moth. Oh my word, these moths, man. These moths, man. That's the surface of the moon. Just imagine a creature that cannot be seen. Even astronauts could not see it, even though they were standing on one. Alright. Oh, look at that, the frog. See, now to me, that's extraterrestrial. That to me is like extraterrestrial. These little fellas, you can take a little bit of, like, you know, you can lick the skin and you can have a DMT trip, or you can put it on an arrowhead and it could take down an elephant. You know, the poison on an arrowhead would take down an elephant. They're the extraterrestrials in the world, man. You know what I mean? The little frogs, man. Especially the Amazonian frogs. I think they're amazing. I love frogs. I love frogs. I mean, I've got stories to tell about frogs. When I was a child, something really peculiar. So, well, I'll tell you now, right? Here's a story when I was a kid, right? I was about 12 years old, right? And we all used to go to the park, Birkenhead Park, in gangs, and we just catch frogs, and you know, like, I wouldn't like, but a lot of the lads would beast them, you know, like inflate them with straws and all kinds of wicked things, right? Inflate them with straws, right? And we went to the park this day it was a gang of us, right? There was a gang of us. Yeah, I think an acid flashback is just really a natural brain occurrence blamed on drugs. Could be. I've had flashbacks, but I thought I would have had them anyway, even if, you know, because I did do a lot of acid in my time, you get me, like. Right, but anyway, we went to the park, right, there was a gang of us at first, there was like about 10 lads, and we were all just going hunting for frogs, basically, right. We found a couple of frogs, and they beasted them or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Right, but it was literally, there was hardly any there, and it was quite like, you know, like the autumn, it was like autumn season, and it just had a vibe where there should have been loads of frogs, but there wasn't, right. And most of the lads went, look, I don't know the belts, man, hold on. Most of the lads went, and there was just me and this other lad, there was just two of us. We stayed in the park, and we were like still searching for frogs, right. Couldn't find any frogs, there weren't many in the pond and all that, right. And then away from the pond, quite far away from the pond, there's like a big field where there's like trees, and actually, you know the field where I'm playing the guitar, the last video I posted, where I'm playing the guitar in Birkenhead Park with the big willow tree. It was that actual field, actually. It's like a huge big space of land, you know, like a nice big green area. And there's little like bushes, you know, like circles of trees and circles of bushes in certain areas that, like, on the ground it's not grass, it's like soil, right. And anyway, we were searching for frogs all day. We couldn't really find any for some reason. There was hardly any there, you know what I mean. There was hardly any in the pond and that, like. And it was just me and this lad. All the other lads had gone home, right. Next thing, it started pissing down rain, like heavy rain, right. Heavy duty rain. And we stood under the tree, you know, like a group of trees where the soil was to shelter from the rain, right. And we were standing there, and we weren't getting really wet, like, but the rain was obviously hitting the ground and, you know, like into the mud. Next thing, hundreds or maybe thousands of baby frogs all came from under the ground. And I've never seen that before. I've only ever seen it that time in my life, in my entire life, right? We were nowhere near the pond. You've got to understand, we weren't anywhere near the pond. We were quite far away from the pond. Thousands of baby frogs They came out of the ground as soon as it started raining. Where the mud was, not where the grass was, you know what I mean? It was just them areas where they planted the shrubs or the rose bushes and things, like thousands of frogs, and we were collecting them in, like, you know, like we had like these little plastic tubs, and I took about 10 of them home, you know. I took them home, put them in a fish bowl, you know what I mean? I actually took 10 little frogs home with me, or I don't know how many there was, but they were quite a few little baby frogs. They're only little tiny things, about that big, you know what I mean? But I was like, where did they come from? I'd never seen any like wildlife program about England. I've seen it in, like, you know, places like Africa and stuff like that, where they live under the ground because they have to, because there's only little bits of water. But this was in England, in our like, you know, our climate, and all thousands of baby frogs they all came from under the ground, and most people wouldn't be watching because it was pissing down with rain, you know what I mean? Most people wouldn't be out because it's raining, you know what I mean? But they were thriving, man. I was like, oh my word, where'd they just come from? Thousands of them, from deep, from below the ground. They came from below the ground. Could frogs be fallen angels? I don't know. But you can lick a frog and you get like a DMT hit. You know, like they call DMT, you know. You know when people, they say when they have DMT, they see aliens' eyes and stuff, don't they? And you look at the images, what people have painted and stuff, based on DMT hits. And they look like frogs. They're tuning into frogs, because DMT comes from frogs, doesn't it? All right, there's a baby owl in a tree. Isn't it crazy, man? All these animals, and then, you know, how long have we been on by now, man? So, there we go, there's the classic. Wow, isn't that freaky? It looks just like a branch, doesn't it? I mean, I know some snakes are cool. And some snakes are actually cool, like, you know what I mean? It's not all snakes. They're sinister. They've got different levels of sinister, you know what I mean? Like here in England, we've got these creatures called slow worms. They're called slow worms, but they're little tiny snakes, really. Never seen one in my life, mate. I've never seen a grass snake for real in England. And I've never seen a slow worm. I've never seen a snake in Britain in the wild ever, like. Strange or what? There's an orange one on some kind of orange flower. My chair's making a lot of noise. Listen to that, man, listen. It's like a fart, isn't it? They slither. You know what's weird, though? They're not even slimy, are they? Slugs are slimy, aren't they? You know, slugs are quite slimy, like. And, you know, other creatures. Snakes are quite dry, aren't they? You know what I mean? Everyone says that they're quite bulletproof, if you know what I mean. They've been made to be slimy little bastards. Some snakes might be alright, mightn't they? You know. Okay, that's the end of me pictures. I'll just do a quick one. All these camouflage creatures. It makes you think, doesn't it? And every single one of them are in a different terrain of their own, aren't they? You know what I mean? Is it possible for us as humanity to be the same? You know, we just want to be camouflage. Or just, you know, just get on and exist. Here's the recap. Alright, I'm getting off. Wow, what was the point I wanted to make earlier about proof that the phones, you know, to make people think twice about getting rid of their iPhones. Alright, that was me interesting little thingy-majig. Oh, look at that. You see that in the corner there? You see, look, you probably see it on the screen there in the corner, mate. I've been formatting a little, what's it called, a flash drive, you know, it's a 64 gig flash drive. And you know the way you've got quick format? You see here in the corner here. I don't think you can actually see that, like, yeah. And it's been formatting since 12 o'clock today, you know, in the afternoon, or about 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something, I don't know. Been formatting all day. I've literally had to stay in because of it. Because I didn't want to cancel it, you know what I mean? I thought, let it finish formatting. I don't know. Okay. Alright, it's getting late here in the United Kingdom of Britain. I think Prince Harry had the right idea leaving the royal family, you know. I do sympathise. You know what I mean? I sort of sympathise with their position. I'd hate to be in their position. I'd hate to be a prince or the future king or something. You know what I mean? You've got to toe the line, haven't you? But I just, you know, there is hope. Maybe the future royal family will modernise and change things, but I'm not saying nothing, man. It's just a matter of time before they got me in the guillotine, isn't it? You know, to get my head in the guillotine, synchronized guillotines. All right, man. So we're on 2 viewers, and I'm about to leave and get off. What time is it now? Because we're talking. It's 3 minutes past 1 in the morning. So I better wrap it up, folks. Okay, I'm getting off. Thanks for watching. If you want to go back to the beginning of the speech, I'm talking about my assumption, my suspicion that the fallen angels came from down there, not up there. They were trapped in Earth. They built railway lines, they built tunnels, they built their own network, and they're working their way up to the surface slowly. So there is a whole subterranean world down there, right, guys? And you know those wind farms they're building everywhere? We're not getting, like, our electricity bills aren't getting smaller, or we pay less or whatever. It's exactly the same, right? Them wind farms, they're to give electricity to the world beneath, isn't it? The subterranean world of the fallen angels. That's what I believe, you know what I mean? Underground bases, underground military bases, you name it, man. But how can they all be underground and not all be joined up? They've got to all be joined up, and they tell lies about it so that they can start world wars, don't they? Because let's just suppose we had a world war tomorrow. All the world leaders of all the countries, all of them would all be in a bunker, safe and sound. Us civilians are all going to fry, aren't we? Whether we're from Russia, America, England, we're all going to fry because we're not allowed to go into a bunker or whatever, like, you know what I mean? We don't give a shit, do we? But that's what I think. I think the fallen angels have wiped our eye with their military stuff and things like that, you know. I mean, I can understand when you're a kid, you know, we used to watch war films, Audie Murphy or whatever, we go like, yeah, man, you know, heroes and that, like. When you get older and you realise what it's all about, it's not the same, is it? You know what I mean? You don't see it the same. You just think, oh my word, I could have been the most decorated military person on the planet, right? Loads of medals for bravery and everything. I'd still be sitting here now after it all going like, I don't know what the fuck it was all for, mate. I don't even know why I did it, like. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to be realistic, haven't you? And realise that war is bad, man. It's the devil's work, man. War is the devil's work, man. Civilians get the worst time, don't they? You know what I mean? If you don't want to join, or you're a conscientious objector, or you're not a royalist, or whatever, or you don't serve the Fuhrer, or whatever, they kill you, don't they? They don't go, okay, you're not coming to war with us, you can go away, like. It's a big psyop, exactly. It's always been a psyop. You know what's weird thing, right? They used to go to the schools in England and recruit, you know, the army and the navy and stuff. They'd come to schools and bring, like, you know, pamphlets and leaflets and everything. And you know, they'd say to kids, you know, you're thinking of leaving school, think of joining the army or whatever, right? Well, you know, recently when they had the Iraq war and everything, and everything was being pushed, and the Afghanistan and everything went on longer than they expected, yeah? For the first time in England in years, since I was a child, they had a recruiting office, you know, like a temporary, like a desk in the middle of the shopping centre with soldiers standing there wearing uniforms with guns on the table. So when the kids are going past, the teenagers, you know what I mean, they're going past, they see a guy standing there dressed as a soldier with guns in front of him and that, like, they're going to go, wow, yeah, man. And then they go over and they have a look. And it was basically, you know what it reminded me of? The way they were recruiting people during Vietnam, you know what I mean? I was like, we haven't seen this for years, man. Where they've got a stall in the street telling the kids to join the army. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is, right, the regiment that they represented when they were, they got like a stall, like a market stall in the street, showing people photographs and weapons and everything, like telling them to join the army. Like, now, if it's that bad where they got people on the street to recruit, you know that they're desperate for men, don't you? You know what I mean? Otherwise, they just recruit through the usual channels, wouldn't they? You know. But, man, it's a scam. It's to get people to die, isn't it? I mean, I always remember when I was a kid and I used to draw punk pictures and that, and I drew this picture of a soldier with bullets going through him, like being shot like that, like, and I had like, what was it? Kill for your country. Like I had it like, kill for your country, and then the word crossed out, kill crossed out, and die put in its place. So you got no choice, you know what I mean? It was like, and a soldier was getting shot, he was like being penetrated with bullets. I was like, die for your country, you know what I mean? That was what I was seeing in the future. I was thinking, it's not about killing or staying alive, it's about like being a volunteer, dying voluntarily, dying voluntarily, or volunteering to have your legs blown off, or volunteering to have your arm blown off. It's mad, and people do it themselves, don't they? They don't even like try and stop it, like. Alright, I'm getting off. Wow, it's weird looking at these analytics and everything, like, the way the waves go up and down, the viewpoints and that, like. I can see where I've been at my most boring and my most intense. Alright, I'm getting off. Alright, Dr. Soul's dead. I'll catch up soon. I've got some more speeches coming up soon. I have to readjust me, get used to this live thingy, the new stream studio thing, so I've been getting it all sorted and that, like. And yeah, I did a big talk about the railway lines and everything being constructed from below, working the way up. The tunnels under the ground and everything, like. Tunnels that we all use for public transport, like the metro in France, the underground in London. It's all over the world. We've all got an underground train line, and where did they suddenly come from? You know what I mean? I think they were there all along. You know what I mean? And then they built houses on the cornerstones, and they put the pillars up and the obelisks and everything, and then create the channels and the portals. All right, man. Okay, I've got to take a rest now. I've got to take a break. Yeah, see you, man. I'll see you soon. Okay, anyone else watching? There's 2 watching. Whoever else was watching, thanks for watching. And I'm going to disappear right now as if I never was. All right, thanks for watching, folks. I'll be back very soon.